1310.
Good call, meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. Whew, what a day it has been. Beautiful sunshine, and we are rocking and rolling, and we are loaded up today here on the program. Welcome in, AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. Don't forget, right now, you can also watch us on the Q92 YouTube channel. You can listen on the stream, AM1310WDPN.com, the WDPN X page, the Facebook page. We're all over, so check us out. Phone lines are open. You want to get in early today, 330-821-1310, and the text line is 330-536-1146. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberger to my right, Jake. Busy today as usual, and we are loaded up today, folks. It all just kind of happened. You know, you plan shows out, you try to plan shows out a day or two in advance. You put out the initial emails, you make contact with people, and sometimes it goes quick, sometimes it's down to the wire. And today we were down to the wire, but we got a great program scheduled for you today. Here's what we've got. We're going to talk some Guardians right off the rip here in about 5 or 6 minutes. Matt Underwood will join us, television voice.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suit? How about your movie nights on the...
Matt Underwood will join us from Cleveland Guardians TV, coming up at 3:15 today. At 3:40, Chris Easterling, Akron Beacon Journal. We'll talk Browns. We'll talk Browns draft. We'll talk NFL draft. And we'll also talk a little possible Cleveland Browns stadium, the new dome in Brook Park. It seems every day there's something different. Bonds. How will the city repay? How will the Browns repay? How much money does Jimmy Haslam and the group want the public to put in? What are they going to put in? And now, especially after the ownership group with the Washington Commanders yesterday, they're going to put in 75% of their money to pay for what looks like it's going to be another brand new, beautiful stadium on the site of the old RFK in D.C. So we'll talk to Chris about that. Tim Stried's going to stop by at 4:10 from the OHSAA. Don't know if you saw it last night or maybe earlier today. The high school basketball Final Four. Going back to Dayton the whole way. There will be no more splitting of the state semifinals at different sites. It's all going to be back in Dayton. So a little different. We'll talk to Tim about that. We'll get you ready for the spring championships. I know the good folks at the OHSAA had a little walkthrough the other day up at Canal Park, over at Firestone in Akron, and some of the other sites around the state of Ohio. And we'll talk a little. But just kind of see what's going on with the OHSAA as far as, doing some different things, trying different things, receiving feedback from coaches and administrators on different things. Tim Stried will be joining us from the OHSAA at 4:10. 5:15 today. We'll talk a little Cavs, and Brian Dulik for the Medina Post Gazette is going to be joining us. We now know it's going to be the Cavaliers and the Pacers, round 2. It's the Eastern Conference semifinals, and those will crank up, I believe, Sunday. We don't have a time yet, but the Cavs and Pacers will get it on at Rocket Arena coming up here on Sunday. But how about last night? How about the old 3+ hour rain delay? And around midnight, we're all going home happy as Kyle Manzardo did exactly this.
We'll mix in the slider. There you go.
Deep right field. Larnach's back. He's out of room. We're out of here.
Oh, there it was. And guess who was on that call? Our good buddy Matty Underwood Cleveland Guardians TV. It's a walk-off for Manzardo, and the Guards get the win. Matt Underwood joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Matty, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. It's been a while since we've been able to chat, and I appreciate you coming on and talking some Guards baseball today. Have you recovered from another long night at the ballpark? My goodness.
Yeah, that was strange to sit there and wait for rain that never really came. But I said it during one of the breaks there that trying to predict the weather with that lake out there is a fool there, and it's impossible to know what's going to happen. But I think the fortunate thing is we got the game in, and that you get to see Tanner Bybee go out and really dominate and pitch like the ace that he is. They needed that performance from Tanner Bybee, and he delivered in a big way.
So, Matty, what was really working for Tanner last night? I was watching once you guys finally got going on the TV, and you could see the ball moving. It was dipping, diving. The fastball was being placed, but he looked, to me, just on TV, he looked extra comfortable and confident last night.
He looked like under control, I think is the best way to say it. At times you'll see Tanner maybe reaching back for a little extra velocity, and that fastball will kind of sail. It'll get up above the strike zone. But last night it was firm, and it was on the edges. It was on the outside corner. It was on the inside corner. It was down. He was able to raise the eye level up and down with his fastball, and then his secondary stuff was exceptional. I mean, he had a good slider, occasional breaking ball. He's got a good changeup, but he had everything working in it. He was either throwing it on the corners or he was missing off the plate. And what you saw the night before with Gavin Williams was when he missed in the middle of the plate. And look, Minnesota came in. They were averaging 6 runs a game over the last week. So we saw first and foremost in that game against Gavin Williams how well they were swinging the bats, because they didn't miss anything that they got the barrel to. So that makes what Tanner did last night even all the more impressive.
Matty, how big of a key is he to this starting rotation? I know we're trying to get Logan Allen rocking and rolling here a little bit, Gavin and some of the other guys, but Tanner's I guess he's got to kind of, learn to be the guy. How big is it for him to get this train rolling on the track going upward?
Yeah, I think he relishes that role, and I think that's what you look for. When you look for a guy who's going to, be the so-called ace or the guy that leads the rotation, you want a guy that he wants the ball when the team needs him the most. I think it's easy to go out there and pitch when the team's won 3 or 4 in a row and scoring a lot of runs. But what does a guy do when things aren't going well, when the bullpen's beat up, when the starters haven't been getting deep into the games? You want a guy that says, don't worry, boys, I got this one. And that's the kind of attitude that Tanner takes when he gets the ball. Look, it's not going to work every time. You're not going to be great every time, but he expects to be great every time out. And I think that attitude. Now, first, Sam, as we all know, first you have to have the stuff.
Right.
You have to have the tools in the toolbox. But he has that, and he's got the attitude to back it up.
Matt Underwood is our guest, Cleveland Guardians TV. You can check out Matty and Rick and Dre. 6:10 first pitch tonight. The Indians taking on the Twins at Progressive Field. So the Guardians are now 16-13, and I don't necessarily want a letter grade after 29 games of the year from you, but maybe a progress report. What do you see?
I see a lineup that's still trying to figure out who they are. We know 2 things for sure. Steven Kwan's your leadoff man, and Jose Ramirez is a 3-hitter. Outside of that, it's constantly, Stephen Vogt is constantly looking at who's the best matchup on a nightly basis. Now, we've seen Kyle Manzardo with a lot of big hits this year. I mean, Manzo is 4 home runs and 8 ribbies in his last 9 games alone. He's slugging .706 over that time. So he's been a guy who Voter has put in that cleanup spot a number of times. The average isn't there, but boy, when he barrels the ball up, it makes that different sound. So I think Manzo's a guy that somewhere figures into the middle of that order. They're trying to find a 2-hole hitter. Who breaks up Kwan and Jose. I think we've seen Nolan Jones there a lot. I think Angel Martinez eventually could be that guy. He's shown a lot of good things offensively at the plate. And then again, behind Jose, who's going to be the big protector? Is it going to be Manzardo? Is he going to stick in that role? John Kenzie Noel's at bats have been inconsistent. So I think they're still trying to figure out who they are offensively. They've done just enough to keep their head above water. I think the starting rotation has had one really good turn where they pitched well, but they've been inconsistent. The bullpen has been about what you expected. I don't think anybody thought that they were going to be as good as they were a year ago when they just flat out dominated every single game they pitched in. But they're still really good. I mean, I think that's still an elite bullpen, even though they've had some bumps in the road. So all in all, I think they're in a pretty good spot. I think early in the season, you just don't want to dig yourself into too big of a hole and have to try to make up a lot of ground. And I think they've done that so far to this point.
My phone is blowing up now with people just going, Travis Bazzana. Like, relax. Okay, relax. I know he's raking, but just relax. Matt Underwood is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDEEP. And you can also watch it right now on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and online, all over your social media platforms. So, expectations for this year, maybe if you and Dre and Arch were just kind of kicking it around, what did you think maybe win total wise? Where did you think they would be at the quarter pole, maybe the All-Star break? And prognostication wise, where are those sitting right now? Because I think this team's got the capabilities, especially, Matty, if you get some guys back, they could take off. But then again, you could be, you could win a series, lose a series, win a series. That's baseball in the marathon.
Yeah, and I think if you want to back it up, coming into the season, like before they played a game, I think the biggest concern that all of us had when we talked just amongst ourselves was, how do you replace the defense of Andres Jimenez and the offense of Josh Naylor?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Josh hit 30 and drove in 100 last year. That's a big number to just say, well, we'll just make that up with player X.
Right.
That just doesn't happen. So we knew it was going to have to be a combination of players. Will they be able to make that up with a combination of Manzardo and a full season of John Kenzie Noel or Nolan Jones? Can those three guys kind of make up for that? And I think we wondered, what will a full season of Lane Thomas in center field look like? He's been hurt. I just watched him taking fly balls in the outfield. I know he's getting close to being activated ever since he got hit by that pitch in the home opener here on the right wrist. But I think that still is a question. How will they replace that offense? I think defensively, I've been really, really impressed with Gabby Arias.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken and again, like you said, take a breath, grain of salt. It's 29 games, but he's taken a huge step forward in the first 29 games of the season for me from where he was a year ago. I see a guy who is he's on point. I think he's more focused. Concentration level's been great. I mean, you see the skill set when you just watch him. I mean, when he swings the bat, when he barrels it up, he can hit. He's got a little thunder in there. But I think defensively, he's really an elite defender. I mean, you watched the play last night where he takes the throw from Quan and in short left field and just turns and fires a seed over to Santana, and they get the runner who came too far around first, Ty France. That was a big play in that game. And I think Gabby's, whether it's at shortstop, whether it's at second base, he's done a really nice job. So I think they've answered one of those questions. The other one, we're still searching.
Matt, you brought up Angel Martinez's name a couple of minutes ago. Something about him, I think maybe he could be that guy. He can do a little bit of everything. I love his hustle. He looks like he's got a great attitude. He makes contact. Maybe he could be that guy to surprise us maybe a little bit more than we thought.
Yeah, he could be that guy that, maybe you didn't really talk a lot about in spring training or really think was going to be a difference maker. But, I mean, my goodness, he puts up a quality at bat every time he gets in the box. Stephen Vogt said it the other day, the biggest difference from a year ago is he's on the fastball. And they knew he could hit off-speed pitches. He could manipulate the bat and get to different off-speed deliveries. But you have to be on the fastball. You have to be able to do that. You've heard Rick Manning say it a million times. If you're going to make your living in the big leagues, you have to hit the fastball. He's done that. And you're talking about a kid who really isn't an outfielder, and he's been taking over and really doing a really nice job in center field. I think he's another guy that, as this season plays out, he could help on the infield, whether it's at short, at second base. But it's really nice for Vogt to have the benefit of a guy who, hey, if I need you in the outfield, he can go out there and you don't really lose anything defensively. So I really like Angel. The personality is there. He's got the smile. You can tell he plays with a passion. He plays with a pure joy when he's on the field. That's fun to see. I think it translates.
No doubt. Matt Underwood is our guest, Cleveland Guardians TV. Check them out tonight. Pregame around 5:30. First pitch at 6:10. The Guards and the Twins. And then we got a little matinee tomorrow. And then it's back out on the road. Matty, how nice has it been to be home for 8, 9, 10 days?
Well, it's been nice. I wish the weather, but it's April. What are you going to do? I just think it's always nice to get on your home turf. The problem, Sam, is it's been a little bit confounding. Is that before last night? I think in the first 7 games, they've given up first inning runs 5 times.
Yeah.
You're down before you even come to bat. And that's not a good feeling. And I think that's why they kind of struggled on the homestand. It was good last night to get Tanner Bybee off to a good start. And hopefully Luis Ortiz follows that lead. You got Ben Lively going tomorrow in the finale. It'd be nice to take this series from Minnesota. At worst, you hope to get out of here with a split. Twins have been playing really good baseball, but I think the ballpark looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The renovations they've done have really taken root. I think people are enjoying the new look of the ballpark. And obviously, once the weather gets a little warmer, you're going to see more bodies in the seats.
No doubt. On the injury front, not sure if what's going on here as far as official news, but maybe just kind of kick around a little bit. I know they put Biebs on the 60-day DL yesterday. You mentioned about Lane Thomas, David Fry. What's the status of some of the guys that we hope to kind of get back here?
Well, first of all, with Bieber, that was just sort of a move to add a spot. I mean, that don't read anything into that. He's doing really well.
Okay, great.
He is on schedule. In fact, Shane, David Fry, and Trevor Stephan are all due to begin like game action here in the very near future. They'll probably, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming they will start some game action out in Arizona, and then they will progress from there. So
Beautiful.
The good news is I would assume you'll see David Fry first out of that group because, he just needs X number of at-bats. He's not going to be throwing this year. He'll be strictly in a DH role, maybe play some first base if he needs to. But then obviously with Shane, he's got to build up the innings, build up to the point where he can go out and be a starter. And Trevor Stephan just needs to build up the workload to be able to pitch out of the bullpen. So the good news is for all three of those guys, they're on track. They're progressing. And yeah, with Lane Thomas, I wouldn't imagine he'll be out much longer. That's the situation with when you have a bone bruise like that, the good news is he didn't get a fracture, but sometimes if you've ever had a really bad bruise, sometimes it takes a while for that thing to heal, especially when it's in your hand and you're swinging a bat and the weather's not exactly great. But it's I hate to say this, but it's true. It sounds cliche, but he is in a day-to-day situation. I think as long as he continues to improve day-to-day, he'll be back in the lineup sooner rather than later.
No doubt. Matty, I know you got to run 60 seconds. You look at the standings right now in the division. Is that what you thought it might look like this early?
Yeah, I was on Detroit all along because when I saw them in the postseason last year, I said, okay, they're no joke. That was not a fluke that they, ran down Minnesota and overtook them for that wild card spot. They have a really good young starting pitching rotation. They've got some talent in the lineup. They're not a perfect team. I don't think there is one in the Central Division. That's the good news. I think the teams are all going to beat each other up. It's going to be a dogfight. I mean, every series, I think, is going to be tough this year. We've already seen it with Kansas City. We've seen it so far with Minnesota. I think Detroit is going to be – they're going to be they're forced to be reckoned with, and it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to the matchups between Cleveland and Detroit throughout the summer.
Should be cool. Matt, appreciate you coming on today. Enjoy watching you guys do your thing on Cleveland Guardians TV. Best of luck tonight, and we'll call upon you down the road. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Matt Underwood, Cleveland Guardians TV, our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, streaming live, AM1310WDPN.com. How cool was it last night to watch Manzardo rip that home run to right center field? I mean, at the time of the home run, and I believe it was, the game was supposed to be at 6:10. They started at 9:20, 10:20. I don't know how close it was to midnight. There wasn't hardly anybody in the stands. Obviously, people got to work, kids got to go to school. But the folks that hung around, they made some racket. It was fun. I mean, you could see the ball it was like 1,000, 2,000, game's over. And Manzardo was running around the bases, and it was time to go home. Thanks to Matty Underwood for joining us here on the program today. Again, Guardians in action, 6:10 against the Twins, Cleveland Guardians TV. All right. We are just getting started here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Coming up here in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk a little Browns draft and stadium with Chris Easterling from the Akron Beacon Journal, great beat reporter for the Cleveland Browns. But before that, we will step away. We'll get you all caught up here at the bottom of the hour, news, weather, and the like, and back with more of the Sam Bourquin Show right here. 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
Entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. The Supreme Court is taking up a major case on whether taxpayer dollars can fund religious schools. The case centers on a Catholic school in Oklahoma that argues its exclusion from state charter school funding amounts to religious discrimination. The state argues that its charter schools are part of the public school system and so must be non-sectarian. ABC News senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer.
Advocates say this is an existential crisis for charter schools. If it comes down from the Supreme Court that religiously affiliated schools can become charter schools, it could potentially open the floodgates for all different sorts of taxpayer-funded religious schools.
A new report says the U.S. economy shrank for the first time since the pandemic. The gross domestic product decreased at an annual rate of 0.3% since the beginning of January. During a cabinet meeting in the Oval Office today, President Trump commented on it.
Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
Trump also acknowledged that his tariffs could result in fewer and costlier products in the United States. He says that perhaps American kids will, in his words, have $2 instead of $30. But he's also insisting that China will suffer more from his trade war. Meanwhile, U.S. stocks are falling following the report suggesting the U.S. economy may have shrunk at the start of the year. The S&P 500 lost 0.5% today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 94 points, and sharp declines for some AI superstars knocked the NASDAQ Composite down 0.9%. Treasury yields also sank after a separate report suggesting hiring by U.S. employers may have been much weaker this month than economists expected. But stocks more than halved their steep losses from early in the morning following a report that showed inflation decelerated in March and got closer to the Federal Reserve's target. Former NFL quarterback John Elway was reportedly involved in a now fatal golf cart incident at an exclusive club in La Quinta, California. His friend has died, as we hear from ABC's Alex Stone.
Witnesses say John Elway was driving a golf cart at the exclusive Madison Club in La Quinta when his longtime agent and business partner Jeff Spurbeck fell out of the golf cart and hit his head. Allie Simon saw it unfolding and says she saw John Elway.
Yeah, he was on the phone trying to call 911, call anyone.
Now the Riverside County coroner is confirming Spurbeck died from his injuries on Wednesday morning. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's 65 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Wednesday afternoon, a high in the middle 60s, sunshine galore all afternoon long. Pretty pleasant day. Overnight tonight, cloudy skies moving in, a low of 52. I am Mark J. Weather. Have a great Wednesday.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back, 1310 WDPN. Sam Bourquin with you on a wild and woolly Wednesday today. Phone lines are open if you want to get in. We'd love to hear from you. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Can't call? Don't got the time? You can text. Always text the show. 330-536-1146. That text line again is 330-536-1146. Again, you can watch us right now on the Q92 Radio Facebook, or I keep screwing that up, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all your favorite streaming platforms. Just put in there AM 1310 WDPN on X, on Facebook. It'll get you there, and you can also listen to us right here on the old terrestrial radio at 1310 WDPN. About 35 minutes past the hour, top of the hour news and weather coming up. Again, thanks to Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV for joining us. Chris Easterling from the Akron Beacon Journal. In about 5 minutes, we'll be talking Browns. We'll talk NFL draft. And what is the latest on the proposed stadium in Brook Park? Every day there's a new story. Every day. We'll see if Chris can clear some of that up for us here in less than 4 minutes. Tim Stried from the OHSAA will be on at 4:10 to talk about the OHSAA and their decision with the high school basketball championships. Remember how they did last year? All 7 state championship games for boys and girls. The championship games only were played at UD Arena in Dayton. The state semifinals were sprinkled around the state of Ohio. They're going to go back to doing the semifinals and the championship game in Dayton. And we just kind of want to get a little clarification on that from Tim. The days that the semifinals and times are going to be played. How they're going. There's a lot that goes into that, because now you're, instead of having 7 games for boys, well, that's 14 between the boys. Now you're going to be doing 28. So I'm guessing that almost anything is going to be in play. And I'm thinking the championship games at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday, most likely. And then when do you play the semifinals? That's why we're going to have Tim on and talk about that. And, of course, the spring championships will be coming up here, believe it or not, faster than you can think. We are almost at the end of April. I'm not even sure. Is there 31 days in April? Okay. So we're almost into May, which the weather is starting to break a little bit. But then, like, the regular seasons are coming to an end for track and field, baseball, softball, and this and that. Our student athletes get absolutely jobbed with the weather. And it's been that way for 100 years. And we can't change it. But I've always felt bad for the kids because just when the weather starts to turn, it's over. Your season's over. But Tim Stried will join us at 4:10. And the Cavaliers, oh, man, I'm telling you right now, this series, and I'm not even trying to overhype this thing or make it bigger than life, I think the Cavs-Pacers series is going to be a knockdown, drag-out, rock fight. I really, really do. And our guys, they know this. Kenny Atkinson knows it. They're going to have to bring it against Indiana. They'll fight you. They will fight you. It's not going to be like the sweep against Miami. And it looked like the Bucks were going to take the Pacers another game last night, but Indiana comes back and wins it in overtime. I think it was, 119, 118. And Cavs and Pacers, now game 1, mark your calendars. It's going to be Sunday, but we don't know what time yet. It could be 1, it could be 3:30, it could be 6, it could be 7, it could be 8, who knows? We'll find that out here in a couple of days. But Brian Dulik from the Medina Post Gazette, he will join us as we will preview the Pacers and the Cavaliers coming up here on Sunday. That's going to be fun. Gosh, the Cavs are so good. They really are. But this series here, you're going to see a big bump in everything. Everything. Loose balls, 50-50 balls, jump balls, people setting screens, getting back on defense. You're going to see this baby's going to be amped up a couple of notches. And you're going to notice it. You're going to think, boy, that Cavs Heat series wasn't like this. And the Cavs just manhandled Miami. It wasn't even close. But you're going to see a big bump here. And I can't wait to get this thing started and keep the journey moving forward to a possible parade here in the month of June. All right, so we talked a little guards with Matty Underwood. Now we're going to talk a little Cleveland Browns here. My good buddy Chris Easterling from the Akron Beacon Journal does an outstanding job as a beat reporter for the Cleveland Browns. And always something going on, Chris. Thanks for coming on today, pal. How are you?
Sammy, long time no talk.
I know. And here we are. You never know when, why, or what, or who, but here we are. And I'm glad we can hook up today and talk a little Browns and draft. And I want to get into maybe the proposed stadium deal with you a little bit as well. But look, I got to start this off with the draft, and not asking for a grade, but I guess your general thoughts on all the selections that were made, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes a little bit with the Shador and some other things.
Overall, I would call it a very good. The process. If you just want to look at the process, that's how I try to look at it. Is I see the process that they went through to make these picks, and if you don't just look at it through the 2025 prism, but understand that these guys are getting 26, barring a massive catastrophe. This is a good start. You solved, I think you solved running back with Judkins and Sampson. I loved, if Mason Graham had just been the pick at 5 and it wasn't the trade down and, the thought that you're basically trading getting Mason Graham for Travis Hunter, I think a lot more people would be on board with that one. Fannin, I mean, God, that's what you're looking for in a modern tight end. Plus Canton Roy, so hometown kid, and then then you get into. I didn't like the Gabriel pick, but clearly they like Gabriel. Clearly they like Gabriel, and then Shador, and the linebacker even. 33 might have been a little bit high, but at the same time, linebacker is going to be a need because JOK might be done playing football. We don't know. I mean, it's just so much uncertainty around him. Go out and get the guy that I've seen multiple people, Matt Miller and Dave Brugler, say, day one starter, top off-ball linebacker, the starter grade, the only off-ball linebacker they had a starter grade on in this draft. So, if nothing else, they probably valued that guy over the gap between whoever their top receiver, top tackle were on the board at the time. So, in general, I look at it and I say, it's a good start. Now these guys have to play, but, I can't come away from it looking at it and just say, kind of holding my nose. I think you got to give them credit for at least it seems like somewhat having a plan this time.
Chris, that's what I have been about since day one of the draft. I think, and I'll ask you, to me, it looked like the Browns were telling us. They were coming out and telling us with their first couple of picks, we know this is going to be a little deeper of a rebuild than everybody probably thought. I'm okay with that, Chris. If you're going to do a rebuild, do it right. We all know, we think we know, you're not going to win many games this year, maybe not even next year, but you're kind of building this thing from the inside out. You're going to go the long way, and I think it's going to pay dividends down the road. Would that be a fair assessment?
I was sitting next to Jimmy Haslam about a month ago in Palm Beach, Florida. Not to brag.
No, didn't take it that way at all, Chris. Believe me. Not at all. Mai Tais, beach. Yeah, go ahead, rub it in.
Yeah, right. Anyways, when he said, he's like, look, this is a multi-year process. He all but said, this is we need really good football players. He said, we don't think, we're not good. They all three, Stefanski, Barry, and Haslam, said down there at the owners' meeting that they weren't going to reach for for a quarterback. So this is a team that ownership, GM, head coach, I think are aligned on this being this is going to be a process, and I guess maybe fans just don't. Some fans don't want to hear that
Exactly
because they look at some of the names on the roster and say, "Well, you got Petonio, you have Miles, you got DeVell, you got this Wyatt, you got Jack Conklin, you got this guy and that guy," and it's like, well, yes, but that entire offensive line is going to be gone by next year.
Yeah, Chris, those guys won't even be around.
Well, I mean, there's so many questions, and then there was the whole Miles thing drama for about a month there in February, and to get us through from through February into March, mid-March, that it was such mixed messages that it concealed that this team always believed that it's in a rebuild. They just don't want to use the word rebuild, basically.
Yeah, totally get that. Chris Easterling is our guest, Browns beat reporter for the Akron Beacon Journal, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Check us out on all of your social media platforms. We are broadcasting live, audio, video as we speak. Go check that out. All right, one more before we get to the man of the hour, Shedeur. I want to go to Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin Jr. Am I crazy to think that they could be starting this coming season or no?
I definitely think Quinshon Judkins is starting.
Okay.
Harold Fannin, well, are they coming out in one tight end or two tight end personnel?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that a lot depends on that because you know how Stefanski wants to roll.
Well, Tommy Reese does also.
Yeah, right.
Reese, when he was at Notre Dame in Alabama, was a multi-tight, double, triple tight, three tight end set guy as well. So, but I think there's going to be, I think Fannin is going to start. I think there's going to be personnel packages where you get Judy, you get Joku, you get Fannin, and, let's not overlook who they signed on Monday. I mean, if you get the good version of Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
That's not a bad wide receiver. 2024 was a bad year for him. I mean, there's no explaining that away. But, I mean, if you get the version that occasionally you saw in Pittsburgh, that's the guy that, I mean, can at least catch passes, give you something, assuming Seth Tillman, takes a step forward. But, I do think Fannin and Judkins are going to be starters. I do think Fannin may very well be the replacement for David Njoku if they can't get something done with David because this is his contract year as well. So, like I say, everything is sort of aligning that 2026 is being a relatively clean. We all know it's not going to be because of a certain someone. But a relatively cleaner break for this team in terms of starting over with at a variety of places.
So let's go to that said individual, Shedeur Sanders, picked in the 5th round, 144th pick overall by the Cleveland Browns. My spidey senses tell me that was Jimmy's call. I might be right. I might be wrong. I know they like to use the word collaborative a lot. Don't know if I buy that all the time. But whoever made the pick, he's here. There's 4 quarterbacks in that room, Chris, right now. Flacco, Shedeur, Gabriel, Pickett. Tough question here, but I know you can handle it. Who will likely be the odd man out by the time September rolls around?
I want to say, you might be surprised. It might be Joe Flacco.
Ooh, especially because of the contract, right?
Well,
because he was real. That was like a real heavily incentive-laden deal, wasn't it?
Right. It was very incentive-laden, heavily incentivized. The only reason I hesitate to say it is because I think back 2 years ago, in the situation they were in, if you remember, Deshaun gets hurt, and then they go through that. They had to throw deep the yard to the Wolves against the Ravens. Then they had that stretch where P.J. Walker was that ultimately led us to Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
And where they left themselves with no experienced backup to in case of emergency, and that's why I hesitate to say Flacco. But I think Kenny Pickett's the day one starter.
Okay.
I mean, who was the first quarterback acquired?
Yeah, that's right. They're telling us, I guess. They're telling us by their actions, right?
Their actions are telling us what they're doing. I mean, I think people just don't want to believe what they're seeing, believe what they're hearing, because it's difficult to believe because this organization has the messaging and everything has been all over the place. So, over the years, the messaging is telling you they like Kenny Pickett and think Kenny Pickett can start for them. It's why they traded for him a month before they went out and got Joe Flacco. They like Dylan Gabriel better than Shedeur Sanders. 50 picks between the two.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So
Chris, let me throw this in here. I have had I don't want to say a ton of people, but quite a few friends, colleagues, just people on social media. And I've kind of threw this out to myself the other day, just kind of looking at the whole situation. Is it crazy to think that the Browns are in the plan of maybe, hey, let's set this thing up this year, maybe where we don't win more than maybe 3 or 4 games. The quarterback class is much, 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 much better next year. And if you get lucky, and if Arch decides to come out, would that be a possible ending point for this franchise to start the full, okay, now we've got our QB, the places, everybody's we got in their place. We've got some draft capital. We got a little bit of relief on the cap. Now we make our move. What do you think?
I mean, I think Andrew even sort of maybe hinted us that on last Thursday when he was asked directly, did the quarterback class of 26, does it have an impact on the way you're approaching drafting the quarterback this year? And, he sort of talked around it, but also didn't deny it. And then somebody came back and said, I mean, you got this first round. Don't forget to get the extra first round pick.
Exactly.
From the Jaguars. So, and he was asked, does that first round pick, considering the quarterback class of 26? And he used the words, it might tangentially related. So, I think, and then, they don't address quarterback till the 3rd round, and it's Dylan Gabriel.
I think again they're showing us everything what the plan is. I like it. I'm okay with it.
They're not hiding from. They're not hiding from it. It seems like they're being about as open as they've ever been, especially under this group with where Barry Stefanski, they won't tell you the sky's blue. If it's blue outside, the sky's blue. So I definitely think that, they said they were going to chase after a quarterback, and they didn't to a point, 3rd round. I don't know if that's chasing. In next year's class, you got 2 first-round picks, one of which I think will be top 10, maybe both. I mean, I still have to see Trevor Lawrence actually look like a legitimate elite NFL quarterback.
I don't see the Jags winning many. I mean, who knows?
I mean, that's a bad division, but it's allegedly a deeper quarterback class. Even if Arch doesn't come out, there's Nussmeier and Klubnik and Aller, depending on your miles being very on him. The Sellers. I mean, you go in there. There's some guys there, so I think they're absolutely kind of banking on. Look, if we hit on Shedeur or Gabriel God bless it, or even pick it. I mean, hey, good for us. We threw a bunch of stuff against the wall, and something stuck.
Yep, I think that's
then
where we're
we can address other things next year.
I think that's where we're at. No doubt.
But
well, never a shortage of storylines. So I know you'll be busy no matter what. Chris, I appreciate you coming on today. Good luck with the opening day of rookie mini camp and camp when it comes here later on in the late summer. Should be wild and zany. Chris, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks a lot, Sammy.
You got it. Chris Easterling, Browns beat reporter for the Akron Beacon Journal. All right, we got about news and weather and get you all caught up here in about 5 minutes. I think I've been very critical of the Browns, and I'm not afraid to admit that, and I don't care that I've been critical. I think I've been pretty on course with it. The one thing, if you're new to me or new to the show, which a lot of you are new to the show because it's only been on for 3 days, right? Captain Obvious speaks again. I'm a Browns fan. I'm not a Browns honk. There's a difference. I don't view the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League through brown and orange glasses. Maybe I did it when I was a kid, and a lot of things that I know now that I didn't know then. So that's not the way that I look at the Browns and how I watch and react to and comment and ask questions about. It's almost like I don't want to call myself just a Browns bystander. I mean, look, I'm not the guy who's in the dog pound going woof woof woof, and here we go, Brownie in the stadium aisles. I'm not that guy. Okay. Do I want them to win? Absolutely. Would I love to see would I love to see a winning season and a playoff berth and a Super Bowl? Absolutely. Would I love to see a parade? Absolutely. But I just find it really hard. This organization, to me, has been really hard to root for. It really has. And I know we can't recapture the days of Brian Sipe and Dave Logan and Bernie and Biner and Mack, and I get it. I understand that. It's a lot different now. I'm still waiting to love the Browns again, to be totally honest with you. Jimmy and the group have made it really hard. They've made it very difficult. I like Kevin Stefanski. I do. I like the way he is like an even keel kind of cat. I like that about him. Does he make mistakes? Sure he does. We all do. But at the end of the day, I want to see this organization do what they should do. And by gosh, it looks like they're finally doing it. They're stripping it down to the studs, building it from the inside out. As I mentioned 15, 20 minutes ago before we brought Chris on, they're getting draft capital. They're starting to shed a little bit of cap room. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson fiasco is still biting them in the rear end. But I think for the first time, they're not trying to do the ultimate Band-Aid. Okay? Just put a little cortisone on that cut and try to heal it up that way. They've tried to do that. I think there have been times over the years, I would say the last 8, 9, 10 years, they wanted to go long-term rebuild. They just couldn't. They couldn't help themselves. They couldn't do it. They went and got Johnny. They went and got Deshaun. They drafted Shador this year. They had to get themselves, I don't know why it was or what caused it. If it was ego-driven, if it was sales-driven, probably both. They couldn't stick with the plan. They couldn't stay on the path. Remember the movie with Eddie Murphy in it? The Golden Child? And that one scene where Eddie Murphy's on that rickety, like a bridge. He has to get from one spot all the way to get the glass of water. And the guy in the background is saying, stay on the path. They never stayed on the path, the Browns. They couldn't help themselves. Even with drafting Shador this year, I think Jimmy's like, I can't do it anymore. We've got to get some excitement. We got to sell jerseys. We got to sell tickets. I think that it just takes him over. But other than that, I think they're doing things the right way. And I'm going to be patient with them. I know they're going to stink the next couple of years. That's okay. I don't have those brown and orange colored glasses expectations. Some of you do, and that's okay. You're fans. Me, I look at it the other way. Do this thing the right way. And maybe by 28, 29, that just might coincide with the opening of a new dome stadium. We never got to that with Chris. We ran out of time. But maybe that's the path we're going down. All right. News, weather, all that good stuff coming up here in just a jiff. We'll be back on the other side. Stay with us. Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The nation's gross domestic product reversing course in the first quarter, shrinking by 0.3%, the first negative growth period since 2022 during the pandemic. The report shows businesses shifted to importing as many goods as possible ahead of tariffs. During a cabinet meeting, President Trump blamed the drop on President Biden's administration and says China's economy will suffer more, but he also says Americans may have to cut back.
Somebody said, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But
Supreme Court justices hearing arguments today in an Oklahoma case on whether a Catholic charter school can operate using public funds or if it violates separation of church and state. General Motors issuing a recall for some 600,000 of its full-size trucks and SUVs over fears their engines could fail without warning. This is ABC News.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale for brands like an extra 30% off new dresses, handbags, and accessories from Karl Lagerfeld Paris, Donna Karan New York, Avec La Fille, and more. Plus, get 15% off fragrances, beauty, and skincare too. It's not only the best time to shop for yourself, it's also the best time to shop early for Mother's Day. Don't miss Friends and Family and Sunday at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. Canton police are investigating a shooting that landed a man in the hospital Tuesday night. Officers responded to the 1200 block of 18th Street Northwest around 8:30. The 22-year-old victim was shot in the chest and went to Mercy Hospital. Witnesses told officers they heard multiple gunshots inside a house. A man reportedly was seen running from the address with another man running after him. Police discovered blood inside the home, as well as 3 pistols, live rounds, several bags of marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. A man charged with aggravated murder will undergo another competency evaluation. Mahoning County Common Pleas Judge Anthony D'Onofrio Tuesday granted a defense request to determine whether 32-year-old Nicholas Cunningham was competent at the time of the alleged crime. The Smith Township man pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity in the death of 44-year-old Gina Wade, who was found dead inside her Courtney Road home in October 2023. Cunningham is also charged with violating a protection order and aggravated burglary. D'Onofrio Tuesday ruled Cunningham competent to stand trial after a second evaluation found he was capable of understanding the nature of the proceedings. The Timken Company reports slower first quarter results, adjusted net income of $98.6 million compared to $125.7 million a year ago. Net income of $78.3 million was down from $103.5 million during the same period last year. President and CEO Richard Kyle said the team executed well, delivering on cost actions and other initiatives to help offset soft demand. Timken updated its outlook to forecast adjusted earnings of $5.10 to $5.60 per share. Revenue is expected to be flat to down 2.5% for the year. Some employees of the Canton City School District have new contracts. Roughly 700 non-teaching staff are covered by the 3-year agreements approved Monday by the Board of Education. They are effective July 1st. Cooks and other nutrition department employees will get a 4% raise the first year. They and vended kitchen managers and food production staff will also receive a 2.5% increase in base pay in the second year. A 1% addition to base pay will go to child nutrition assistants and production kitchen managers. All members will get a 4% raise in the second year. The third-year increase will be determined by what is negotiated by the teachers union. A 4% raise in the first and second years will be received by employees covered by the second contract. An additional 1% bump in base pay the second and third years will go to 6 support staff positions. Bus drivers will receive a 1.5% raise in base pay. A pony found in Marlborough Township is back home. The animal was returned to its owner today. Township police say the pony was discovered on Swamp Street Tuesday, but they were unable to capture it. The animal headed westbound across Duquette Avenue through a field between Route 619 and Swamp toward Hartville. It was later wrangled in the Danbury Glen allotment. 2 eaglets are dead after their nest in Madison Township was knocked out of a tree during Tuesday's thunderstorms. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources says they were about a month old. The parents survived the incident. Bald eagles are protected by federal law. Ohio had about a dozen eagle nests in the 1990s. The number has increased to more than 1,000, including 8 in Columbiana County. A man accused of shooting a teen in Wellsville is scheduled to return to court May 5th. 20-year-old Emery Childs of Wellsville appeared Tuesday in Columbiana County Municipal Court for his arraignment. He's charged with felonious assault, inducing panic, and tampering with evidence in the Sunday incident. Childs allegedly shot the teen, who suffered a gunshot wound to the wrist. The shooting occurred on 18th Street. Police believe the incident involved additional teens from Steubenville, and more arrests are expected. Childs is being held in the county jail on $500,000 bond. A man is on trial for allegedly driving drunk and causing a fatal crash in Kent. Proceedings in the case of 51-year-old Albert DiTomaso of Kent began Tuesday in Portage County Common Pleas Court. He's charged with aggravated vehicular homicide, vehicular assault, and OVI. Police said DiTomaso was behind the wheel when his car rear-ended a Spectrum truck parked on the side of Lake Street in January 2024. His passenger, 55-year-old William Williams of Kent, was pronounced dead at the scene. DiTomaso's blood alcohol level allegedly was more than 3 times the legal limit. He and a Spectrum employee were taken to Akron hospitals with serious injuries. Youngstown police say a juvenile was arrested after being found with a loaded shotgun on the city's south side. An officer and a state trooper working the city's annual Impact Initiative Tuesday night saw the teen and another juvenile walking at Fernley and Hilda Avenues. One of them reportedly had a large bulge in his leg and fled on foot when officers attempted to speak with him. He was arrested a short time later and charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm, tampering with evidence, carrying concealed weapons, and obstructing official business. The teen is being held in the Mahoning County Juvenile Justice Center. Police found 16 live shotgun rounds and a loaded 12-gauge shotgun under a car. The other juvenile was released at the scene. A father and son who allegedly killed a mail carrier in Warren could be given the death penalty. A federal grand jury indicted 44-year-old Thomas Sledge and 24-year-old Caprice Sledge on 1 count each of murder of an officer and employee of the United States and a weapons count. They were arrested in October. The charges stem from the March 2024 shooting of Jonte Davis. He was killed at Scott Street and Olive Avenue Northeast. The suspects are believed to have known him. Prosecutors are attempting to determine if the pair would be eligible for the death penalty if they are convicted of killing Davis. Defense attorneys are trying to prevent the sentence from being implemented. Another hearing is scheduled July 8th. The Justice Department will decide if this is a capital case. It's 66 degrees and Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. Mark Johnson's forecast is up next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
Send your loved ones to they'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
Dry and quiet weather for your Wednesday afternoon. A lot of bright sunshine, a few scattered clouds beginning to move in. We'll see a high in the middle 60s. Overnight, clouds increase with a low near 52. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5. This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And welcome back, everybody. It is hour number 2 of the Sam Bourquin Get Together with you. We're here Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world. AM 1310 WDPN.com. Good to see a couple more have joined us on the YouTube channel. Again, you can watch us on the YouTube channel at the Q92 Sports YouTube channel, and also you can listen to us terrestrially, and you can stream us 1310 WDPN on X and on the Facebook page. You can watch us, you can like us, you can listen to us, you can even dislike us, but I don't want you to do that. But we certainly do appreciate you dropping by. Sammy B here in the big chair. To my right, Ryan Make It Rainsberger doing his thing today as we bring you through your Wednesday. What a beautiful day. 65, 66 degrees. How about this today, what I did? By the way, Tim Stried from the OHSAA coming up here in a couple of minutes. So a typical Sam Bourquin move today. Come in the station. We have our, I guess I could peel the curtain back. We have a little powwow at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. Okay. We have a little get together back in the boardroom. Everybody talks about what they're doing, the departments, AM, FM. Pretty cool thing. It's really nice to be a part of that. So that was about an hour 10, hour 15. And I went back to the office here and did some stuff for the next couple shows. So it was about noon, maybe 12:30. And I'm in this, I've got this, I guess, a routine, I would call it. After I come in here about 10, I would just go down the street to one of the convenience stores and just grab something real light and come back. So that's what I did on Monday, Tuesday. Got a little snack, got a little drink, a little water, whatever. Come on back. I'm ready to roll for the rest of the day. So I went to said convenience store today, picked up a little mini pizza and a drink, and I also picked up a very small bag of Doritos. So I waited in line for about 4 or 5 minutes, but it was packed, and there was only one person behind the counter. I'm like, come on. So I eventually get up to the counter, put my stuff down, type in my little code so I get credit for my purchases. She says, okay, that'll be such and such for your total. No wallet, no cash, no nothing. I'm sitting there, how you pat your front pockets and your back pockets like, man, I have seemed to have forgotten my money. And that's exactly what I did. So I made that face. I made the walk of shame. I put the pizza back in the warmer. I put the chips back. I put the drink back. I said, I'll be back. I had to come all the way back to the station, got my wallet, drove back down to the convenience store. All the pizzas were sold. Shame on me. So it was a very light lunch today. But yeah, that's the typical move that I've been pulling in life the last several. It's like I just do stuff that I just thought I would never do. And the lady behind the counter looked at me like, I've seen you here the last 3 days. Why would you forget your wallet today after you remembered to bring it Monday and Tuesday? So there you go. We all do it. We all do it. All right. I want to thank Matt Underwood, Cleveland Guardians TV, for joining us in the 3 o'clock hour. Also, Chris Easterling, Browns reporter from the Akron Beacon Journal. Now we're going to bring on the man who kind of stirs the drink down on Rosalia Place in Columbus. Good friend of ours, Timmy Stried from the OHSAA, kind enough to spend some time with us here on WDPN. Tim, good afternoon. It's good to hear your voice. How are you?
I'm good, Sammy. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate reaching out, and let's talk some high school sports. Let's do it, man. Let's do it on a beautiful day like today. I wish I could go to a couple baseball games and softball games and track meets, and I'll tell you what, it's getting to be that time of the year. You guys dropped a pretty significant announcement late yesterday afternoon. I saw it early evening online about the OHSAA and UD Arena kind of
going to do it up now. It's going to be semifinals and state championship games in Dayton, not like it was last year. And we'll kind of dig into that a little bit. But first of all, on that announcement yesterday, how did that come to pass, and we'll kind of roll from there?
Sure. Well, last summer when we started thinking about the upcoming basketball tournament with 7 divisions, of course, we need to talk about how are we going to do the state tournament. A lot of different options were discussed. Both internally and with our board and with the Coaches Association. The first thing to know back then, and it's going to be true next year, University of Dayton cannot host all 21 games. That is kind of the first piece of the puzzle that you look at. So then from there, you talk about, okay, do we use other sites in the Dayton area to get some of the games done? Do we play the state semifinals midweek? Like we do for soccer on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Cross, we do it that way. Or do we use the football model, which is where we put the semifinals on their own weekend, the weekend before? And that's what we settled on. That's what we went with. Wasn't set in stone to do that for multiple years. That was our attempt last year. And this year at the state finals in Dayton, we talked to all the coaches, and we also talked to the coaches that were in the semifinals but lost. And they were all pretty unanimous that they really would prefer going back to the traditional model where all the teams come to the same area for the Final Four. Okay. And so that's what we're going to do. We haven't worked out all the details yet with the different sites. Maybe we'll just need 1. Maybe we'll need 2. So more to come on that.
I know it's really early here, but any idea like the days that you would want to do that? How many days would you like to have sprinkled between the semis and the championships? Obviously, you're going to crown 7 state champions in boys and girls. So there's a lot of games to be played there. What are you looking for is trying to just make it work for everybody?
Yeah, well, I think the best model to show is how we're doing the baseball state tournament this year, which is up in your neck of the woods. The baseball schedule is that Canal Park in Akron is the home base. That is where all the championship games will be played and some of the semifinals. But we will also use Thurman Munson Stadium in Canton for some of the semifinals.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is the state semifinals in Canton they'll be going on while we're also playing games in Akron. So the baseball state tournament is a 4-day event. We have a couple games on Thursday that particular week, and then we have a whole bunch of games on Friday, Saturday, and then we need Sunday to play the last 3 championship games. So I think basketball will look very similar to that. We definitely are hoping to use Wright State University, which is 12 minutes away from UD Arena. So definitely that one. If we can, I honestly think if we can get it all done in those 2 sites, I think that's what would be the first option. If we can't get it all done in those 2 sites, then nearby is Trent Arena, which is at Fairmont High School, but it's nicer than most college arenas. And of course, Wittenberg is not that far away either. So yeah, we need to look at the format, but I really think the baseball state tournament schedule this year is the model.
Interesting. Tim Stried is our guest from the OHSA. Tim, I didn't even know about that you were going to use Munson this year. So that's a bit of news that kind of perked me up here a little bit. That'll be neat because they really, I'm sure they really transformed that place into a crown jewel. And that'll be a great host site for you. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. So how did overall, let's kind of backtrack here a little bit. How overall for the year did it go with the first year of the basketball going to 7 divisions for the boys and girls? Any feedback from the coaches, administrators, athletic directors, what have you? How did that work for you all?
Yeah, overall, very, very well. In fact, the scenario I've used a few times this year is, I guess the way I would describe it for all of our schools is, it'd be like winning the lottery and winning $1 million. So yay, but now you owe $400,000 in taxes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Overall, very positive. And we had some state champions and state tournament qualifiers, first of all, that were just so much fun to work with, like in your area, Louisville and Massillon Perry were just great to see play and advance. Would they have advanced through in the 4 division format? I don't know, maybe, but we had a lot of examples like that on the girls and boys side. The state tournament format, and Doug Ute has said this several times, is that during the girls state semifinals, back when we did our initial planning back in the summer and the fall, we anticipated more college arenas being available for those girls semifinals. That ended up not being the case. So certainly that was not our goal to play all those girls state semifinals at high school gyms. Now the atmospheres were great.
Oh, sure.
Great environment. So we still had great environments and great games. But it was not a Final Four feel for them, is what they would say, and totally understandable. Now, the boys' state semis, and you and I have talked about this, the day there at the field house.
Oh, my gosh, Tim, that was basketball heaven.
Yes, it was. You're right. It was basketball heaven. That was an amazing day. I know everyone there will never forget that day with those 3 great games. And everyone, we will certainly still work to create those kinds of days at the field house, but it would be for the regionals.
Right.
And field house has hosted great regionals for a long time. That's not going to change. It just won't be the state semifinals, but boy, that we're still talking about that day at the field house.
I think my ears are still ringing, honestly. That was just, and we got there because we broadcast 2 of the 3. We got there early to watch Ignatius and Olentangy. And I mean, I've been going to the field house since I was 6 years old. And I walked in there and boy, I just had goosebumps. And I looked around at some of the people I knew and everybody there, they had that Christmas morning look in their face. Like, this is the field house. Now I get it. Now I understand what you've been talking about for the last several decades. And I tell you what, that was, oh my gosh, if you couldn't script it any better. And even with the team like Louisville there, semi-local, Perry, very local, with the field house, with the capacity, I think Joe told me once it's like 4,000, we'll say 4,500, whatever. Even if there's only like 32 or 33 in there, it sounds like there's 20,000. It's incredible.
Well, and I absolutely, I can vouch for that. And, that analogy is transitioning, to Dayton. That's kind of the analogy that we use when we talk about University of Dayton Arena. You put 6,000 people in UD Arena. It's echoing. It sounds so loud. It looks full. You put 6,000 people at the Schottenstein Center and it looks pretty empty. Now, I like the Shot. I do. And they are a amazing host for our wrestling state tournament. Not sure if basketball is going to go back there anytime soon, but it is definitely a large multi-purpose facility.
Tim Stried is our guest from the OHSA, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. So just chopping it up here, arena capacity, as we sit here today in 2025, to you, what would and no disrespect, and it won't be toward any of the places, but for you and for the people that really love the state tournament, what do you think's a good number for capacity of an arena to host the title games?
Well, I think an arena similar to St. John Arena or University of Dayton Arena, which both of those are in the 13,000 seat capacity. Now, we have not sold out a game at UD Arena. I think our biggest crowd so far there, it was 11,000 and it seemed full. So we haven't sold out yet, but I think that type of arena is the right size. I mean, you and I both remember the years at St. John Arena when it's a perfect scenario. If a game may sell out, it's a hot ticket, and it does. And it's, but if the game's not going to sell out, then the ticket isn't as hot, and then it doesn't. And we have this conversation all the time with the football playoffs, especially down, let's just say, in a place like Southwest Ohio at Mason, which is 7,500. If we put a game there, it sells out right now. You put that game at, let's say, Nippert Stadium, where UC Bearcats play. well, it's definitely not going to sell out. And then the crowd is even smaller. So it's a topic I talk about a lot, especially when I talk to sport management groups. But definitely, I think an arena around 13,000 is perfect for a basketball state final.
I agree. I remember the old St. John's, and I would never forget that it's 13,276. That was their capacity forever and ever and ever. And man alive, I mean, I remember the days going down there, even with my parents going down to watch the Canton McKinleys and the what have you. And gosh, the people outside selling tickets it was just incredible. And I think UD Arena this past year, Tim, was my first time there broadcasting state championships, and we were lucky we did 2 in one day with Perry and Louisville, and I thought it was great. And I think the people that work there and host, they just bent over backwards for you. You were so welcomed. I thought it was fantastic. Is that the reviews that you get from most when they go down there for a tournament?
Absolutely. Yeah, to a T. All the groups say that. And, it's not just at the arena. It trickles out into the community, into the restaurants, into the hotels. Basketball down there is just special, unique, and everyone's talking basketball all March down there, and so we get to reap the benefit of that. But yeah, from the teams entering the arena with the Dayton Visitors Bureau folks there cheering them on and passing out cookies and oh my gosh, all kinds of stuff. It's just a very unique environment and very special for them, and we are in a fortunate position at the OHSA that they want to be the home of basketball in Ohio, and it's a similar scenario with Canton for football. They want to be the home of the state championships, and so we're very fortunate to have not only that attitude but such an amazing venue to go along with it.
And Timmy, I'll take that a step further. I think just the hunger for basketball, especially that week, and look. It goes tenfold if the Flyers are having a great year. You've got the NCAA play-in games at the arena. Then you bring the high school people in. If you're a basketball fan, Dayton's is the spectacle for about 7 or 8 days.
Yeah, it really is. And I had forgotten that was your first chance to broadcast down there, Sam. I'm glad you had a chance to see it. And I am very lucky, blessed, whatever word you want to use for what I do, because I'm able to do Radio Row. I had 48 seats on that side of the court full of broadcasters, and that's the way it should be. That's the way our state tournaments have been. That's the way I always want them to be. And glad you guys were able to bring the call back to Stark County.
That was awesome. Tim Stried is our guest. We'll keep you for another 2.5, and then we'll let you roll. And I really do appreciate you coming on today. Anything else shaking down at the OHSA? You mentioned the state title football games in Canton. They'll be coming back again as they continue to try to get things finished up and wrapped up over there with the stadium and the village and what have you. And there's been a couple hiccups there, but I think at some point you're going to see that through. So that's going. I know you guys did a little walk there with some of the other places yesterday, Firestone and Canal Park and that. And anything else going on that you want to get out there before we go?
Well, you're right that we did a walkthrough at both Firestone Stadium yesterday. We actually drove down to Canton and did a little walkthrough with our video production crew at Thurman Munson.
Okay, good.
Great to be there. I'll end with this. And right when we came on, you said you wish you were at a baseball game. Guess where I am right now, Sam?
Uh-oh.
I'm at a baseball game.
Oh yeah.
I'll just mention that because I'm here at Olentangy High School, which is in Delaware County.
Yep.
We are getting ready to do a kind of behind the scenes video for our social media where we go a day in the life of an OHSA baseball umpire.
Oh, wow. So, where can people check that out?
Yeah, we'll have it. It'll need a day or two to edit. It'll be on our social media next week. It'll be on our probably TikTok, I think, is where it'll live, but we'll also put it on our Facebook and Instagram and X pages.
Okay.
All those links are at OHSAA Sports.
Got it. OHSAA Sports. That will be neat. I know a few umpires. Some are really close friends of mine, and I go, man, how do you do that? Or what's the day like for you with travel and doing different things, and I think that sounds pretty cool. We'll be on the lookout for that. Tim, thank you so much for coming on today and keeping us in touch with what's going on with the OHSAA and the different tournaments and the different venues. And if anything breaks down the road, we'll be sure to give you a call. But in the meantime, enjoy the upcoming spring sports championships, and we'll talk with you down the road.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on, Sammy.
Thank you. Tim Stried from the OHSAA joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. You can text the show, by the way, 330-536-1146 from the 330. Sammy, I'm from Louisville. Our experience at UD Arena was awesome. Absolutely a beautiful facility. Could not agree more. That was a great day. And the fact that we had two area teams there, Stark County, on the same day, I'm going to tell you what, you might never see that again. You might not ever see that again. Two teams from Stark County playing for a state championship, same arena, same day. That's not easy to do. And I know with the 7 divisions, it could possibly happen. But, Perry had kind of like that Cinderella run. You kind of thought Louisville was going to be there from the get-go. But you still have to win your games and get there. And that's exactly what they did. Fieldhouse magic, incredible. UD Arena, I was impressed. I've been to the Shot. I still love St. John Arena. I'm a little old school there. I've done tournament games at the Jar in Akron, at the Mac Center in Kent, at the Convocation Center down in Athens at OU. Been around, done a lot of games in a lot of places. But for my money, I mean, the field house, and I think UD Arena, Tim mentioned it, they get it. They want you there. They want you there. They love basketball. Bottom of the hour is coming up. We'll take a break. News and weather, and we'll be back on the other side with a lot more. Phones are open, by the way, too. 330-821-1310. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. U.S. stocks bounced back from steep early losses to end mixed, continuing their wild swings amid uncertainty about what President Trump's trade war will do to the economy. The S&P 500 rose 0.1% today, extending its winning streak to a seventh day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.3%, and the Nasdaq Composite slipped 0.1%. Indexes started the day lower after a report suggested the U.S. economy may have shrunk at the start of the year before most of Trump's announced tariffs could take effect. The S&P 500 had been down as much as 2.3%. Treasury yields fell. While answering questions at the end of his cabinet meeting today, President Trump seemed to acknowledge the real effects the trade war with China could have on Americans. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has more.
President Trump has said before there would be short-term disturbances and transition costs from his trade and tariff policies. But today he acknowledged for the first time prices could go up and some Americans might have to do with less as a result of the trade war with China.
Somebody said, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking about something that we have to go out of our way.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Chief Justice John Roberts appears to hold the key vote over whether the Supreme Court will allow the nation's first publicly funded religious charter school in Oklahoma. Roberts was the only justice whose vote seemed in doubt after the court heard more than 2 hours of arguments today and a major clash involving the separation of church and state. 4 other conservative justices seemed firmly on the side of the St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School and the state charter school board that approved it. The 3 liberal justices seemed just as likely to vote to affirm an Oklahoma Supreme Court decision that held that the taxpayer-funded school would entangle church and state in violation of the First Amendment. Ukraine and the United States were poised to sign a mineral resources agreement today, but issues between the two parties arose at the last minute. That's according to a source in the Ukrainian president's office who spoke to ABC News. The U.S. disputes Ukraine's account, saying the U.S. was ready to sign the deal, but that the Ukrainians decided Tuesday night that they wanted to make some changes. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent addressed the issue at a cabinet meeting today.
Our side is ready to sign. Ukrainians decided last night to make some last-minute changes. Well, we're sure that they will reconsider that, and we are ready to sign this afternoon if they are.
It's 66 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A seasonably mild weather afternoon for your Wednesday. We'll go 65 degrees for the high today with bright sunshine all day long. Overnight, clouds will begin to move in, thicken up. We'll see a low in the lower 50s. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Unforgettable favorites.
We're the station with unforgettable favorites. AM 1310 WDPN.
Unforgettable favorites. WDPN 1310.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live all over the world, AM 1310WDPN.com. Don't forget, you can call the show, 330-821-1310. You can text the program at 330-536-1146. You can listen to us on 1310WDPN.com on the X page, which used to be Twitter, of course, on the Facebook page. And you can also watch us live as I adjust the microphone on the Q92 YouTube channel. Okay. I want to thank all of our guests so far today. Thanks to Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV for talking some Guards baseball with us today. I want to thank Chris Easterling for the Akron Beacon Journal for talking a little Browns and NFL draft. And Tim Stried from the OHSAA, kind enough to join us a couple of minutes ago. Talk about some of the changes going on with the tournament as far as the state championships are concerned for the basketball for high school boys and girls. This year, the state semifinals and the state finals are going to be in Dayton. Now, they may not all be at UD Arena. They may be at the Nutter Center at Wright State. They could be at Trent Arena. They could Fairmont, but they're trying to get all that stuff squared away. And I think they're obviously on a good track to be doing that. Phone lines again open at 330-821-1310. If you want to get in, 330-821-1310 and have a little discussion on what we've talked about so far here on the program. All right, the Guardians in action tonight. They'll take on the Twins at 6:10. 1:10 tomorrow, and then Cleveland will once again be out on the road. Cavaliers, we know who the opponent is. Listen to me, we know. Like, I'm a part of the team. Yeah, let's go. Let them know, baby. We know it's going to be the Pacers now. And we know game 1 is going to be Sunday. We don't know what time yet. But aside from all that, how excited are you for this series to begin? I said about 45 minutes ago, I think knockdown, drag out, rock fight. Now, I usually don't think that way with the Cavs. What is their... Oh, they're too soft. Oh, they're not tough enough. Oh, they won't get on the ground and fight for a loose ball. I think this is a different deal. You know, back in the day, the teams like the Pistons, rough and tough, dirty players. The tough teams with the Chicago Bulls. You know, Miami and the Knicks back in the day when final scores were 87-79 in the playoffs. Thank gosh those days are over. But you know what I mean? That was a different style, a different way to play basketball. And you would think, oh, the Cavs can't match up with teams like that. They're not tough enough. They're not mentally tough enough to go out and do it. Forget about that. This team, in my opinion, is ready to go out there and throw rocks. I believe that. I think Donovan Mitchell is a tough dog. I think Ty Jerome is a tough dog. Evan Mobley is getting tougher and tougher every time he goes out to play. DeAndre Hunter's got it. We got some guys that aren't afraid to go out there and mix it up. And they're going to be well rested again. You got to remember, when the regular season ended, that crazy, wild overtime loss in their season finale, then we had to wait for the playoffs to begin because there was the NBA play-in tournament or the NBA play-in games. Then we had to play the Heat. Got a long rest. Now we got another long rest. Okay. Pacers had to go a little bit longer in their series against Milwaukee, but they'll be ready to go after the rest. Cavs will be hosting. They've got the home court advantage. I think this thing goes 6. I do. I think it goes 6 games. Would I be surprised if the Cavs had a gentleman's sweep? No. Would I be surprised if we found ourselves in a game 7 biting our fingernails? No. But I think this thing goes 6. I'm just excited because, let's be honest, the Cavaliers have had no competition in the postseason. Miami Heat, they offered very, very little resistance. They packed it up and quit the other night. And the Cavs took control and they stayed on their throat. They never let them get off the deck. Now we're going to rest up a little bit. It's a young, exciting team. Not a lot of miles on the tires this year. Remember when the Cavaliers would go into the playoffs? Guys would be averaging 41, 42 minutes a game, 39 minutes a game. The bench is so crucial. So crucial. And not just where they are at now, but during the regular season. You get those mundane Tuesday nights in January at home against San Antonio. Now, you can't bring it every night. Yeah, you probably should try. You're professionals. You're getting paid great. But sometimes the mind and the soul and the heart want to do it, but the body just can't. So instead of running Spida out there for 45 minutes, Evan for 40, Darius Garland for 47, 29, 30, 32 minutes, we're good. Remember those long win streaks they went on, 15 to start the year, then like a 15, another 12-game winning streak, a 14-game win streak, and we were just bludgeoning teams. We only had to keep our starters in 24, 25, 26, 27 minutes. And I think that's going to pay dividends. Not only did they get the rest a little bit during the season, now they're getting some big-time rest now in between NBA series. And if you go back and look at the history, it's these kinds of teams that they've got a lot of juice, a lot of electricity left in the tank. They're usually playing in June for an NBA title. I think if you go back and look, that shows you that if you're getting that little extra rest, you're not getting rusty, but you're just getting that little bit of extra rest. And it's not just for your studs. It's for 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. That's going to pay dividends for this team. I think this is going to be a fantastic series. I really do. And you know what else is going to be fun about this? With the close proximity between Cleveland and Indianapolis, I think the folks that got a little extra cheddar in their account, I think you're going to see the fan bases travel, to both arenas. I think you're going to see a lot of people from Indiana come on over to Cleveland to Rocket Arena, and I think you're going to see Cavs Nation travel to Indianapolis. Now you got to get your tickets because they're going to be hot tickets, but if you can do that, and I think that's going to be fun because you normally don't see that in the NBA. You just don't. NFL stadiums, you do. You know, you've got 5-6 days to get ready and make a big trip out of it and make a weekend out of it, whatever. Baseball, your team's going to be in that particular town for at least 2 nights, maybe 3 nights, a 3 or 4 game series. NBA, it's a little tougher to do that. But I would not be surprised if you go to Rocket Arena, you see a lot of people, you hear Pacer chants going on. When you go over to Indianapolis, you're going to see a lot of wine and gold there. I remember the year that I think this was in LeBron's first run. Yes. And we played the Pistons in a first-round series. And it was 3-0. Game 4 was going to be in Detroit on a Sunday afternoon, and I believe it was a 3:30 tip. Cavs are up 3-0. Good friend of mine, Big John. Hope you're doing well. We decided about 48 hours before, we're going to Detroit. We're going. So we went out and bought jerseys. We bought hats. We bought tickets to the Palace of Auburn Hills. And we got in the car Sunday morning and we made the drive. And we got there. And I'm telling you what, the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is no longer the home floor for the Detroit Pistons, they now play at Little Caesars Arena in downtown Detroit. Remember, Auburn Hills is about 20, 25 minutes away. We got there that Sunday. The Palace held 21,000 and change. I'm not kidding you. It was 75, 80% Cavs fans in that building. I had never seen anything like it. The Let's Go Cavs chant, I mean, it was incredible. And the guys were feeding off of it, and they ran Detroit right off the floor. And that was it. 4-0 sweep, on to the next series. And you don't really get to see that in NBA arenas too much. I think you're going to see that, and I think that's going to add to it. I really do. I think it's going to be fun. Come on, Indiana. Come on over to Rocket Arena. We'll show you. and same thing. We'll travel over to Indianapolis. I think that's going to be fantastic. And I think it's going to be high energy. We're going to get a little drama. We're probably going to get some controversial calls. Please don't put Tony Brothers on a game. Please don't do that. But I think it's going to be fun. Pacers took care of the Bucks last night, 119-118. Cavs have been waiting around since they dispatched of the Heat a couple of days ago. And I'm looking at some of the matchup. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton is a beast. You're gonna have to make sure you know where he is and maybe deliver a couple of messages to him during the game. I think the Cavs will win this series. I don't see a sweep, but I see fun. I see competitive play. I see high stakes here. This is going to be fun. To me, and I'm probably a little biased as a Cavs fan, this could be the best second-round matchup of games in the NBA playoffs. I really believe that. How excited are you? 330-821-1310. You can text the show 330-536-1146. How excited are you for this round of the playoffs and see what this Cleveland Cavaliers team can do? You going to try to get to a game or two? I know you'll be watching or listening. But what's your excitement level for the Eastern Conference semifinals? Would love to hear from some Cavs fans out there. Maybe get a little prediction on how you think this series is going to play out. 330-821-1310, the phone number. You can text it 330-536-1146. I got the Cavs in 6, so that means there's going to have to be a road win in there somewhere. But I think the Wine and Gold are going to get it done. I really do. By the way, last night, if you missed it, busy night in the NBA. A couple more series. Pistons beat the Knicks 106-103. That series at 3-2. The Celtics mollywopped the Orlando Magic 120-89. That series is over. And if I may pat myself on the back, what did I tell you yesterday? The Denver Nuggets plus 1.5. What did I tell you yesterday? I loved Denver. Loved them. I was trying to tell you without telling you to make a move on that game, if you know what I mean. Oh, we're allowed to say it. Gambling's legal. I told you to bet that game yesterday, and I hope you did. Nuggets beat the Clippers 131-115. Tonight, 2 games in the association playoffs, a 7:30 tip. Houston will host the Golden State Warriors. That's been a fantastic series. And the Lakers and the Timberwolves. The Lakers are on the edge. They've got to get a win tonight against the Ant-Man and the Wolves out in L.A. So 2 more big games tonight as the NBA playoffs continue. All right, we're going to step out. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-536-1146. We'll come back in just a minute. Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Of all the ways to get ahead in life, we're one of them, and we're legal. The John Tesh Radio Show.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room.
You're just trying to be better. We're just trying to help. The John Tesh Radio Show.
Join me for music and intelligence for your life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's intelligence for your life.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? SafeStep walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. SafeStep walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suit? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back about 7 minutes or so before we get you to the top of the hour. Welcome back to 1310 WDPN. We were talking a little Cavs, Pacers, and NBA before we went to the break, and I know there's got to be a Cavs fan out there in Alliance, in Canton, Massillon, North Canton, Hartville, Uniontown, Dover. Got to be a bunch of you out there. Maybe you're on the fence. Maybe does anybody fear the Indiana Pacers? Like you literally think, oh God, there's no way we'll win this series, or it's going to go 7, or you're going to have a sleepless night. Does anybody feel that way going in, or do you go in with the feeling of Cavs get it done? It's just a matter of how many games it takes. I'm going to go Cavs in 6. What say you? 330-821-1310. You can text the show, 330-536-1146. Coming up, let's see here. What we got? Friday at 3:35, the skipper of your Mount Union Purple Raider baseball team, Paul Hesse, Hall of Famer Paul Hesse. He's going to join us on the program. We'll talk about the Purple Raiders. They are 26-8, and they are on their way. They are oh so close to wrapping up the top record in the OAC and getting ready for the tournament. And they're going to be able to host at Rayfield Rogers Field. And I think something special is brewing down the street. Alliance, if you have not been out to see Mount Union play, and I know the college baseball season, it seems like it starts in January, right? Half the games that they have to play earlier on spring trips, whether it's Carolinas or West Virginia or Florida or wherever, and they don't really get to play that many games back here at home. But if you get a chance, now the regular season schedule is done at home. They've got a trip to Washington and Jefferson on Friday, and then a doubleheader, I believe, in Muskingum on Saturday. And boy, I hope they can get those games in because the weather does not look good on Saturday. But if you get a chance for the OAC tournament, get on over to the field, Rayfield Rogers Field, and get out and watch and support the Mount Union baseball team and Coach Hesse. They got something cooking. I'm telling you, pitching, hitting, they've got some power. They're not afraid to steal some bases. They play pretty clean baseball. If you can, come on over. I'm going to get over there for the OAC tournament. I think they got a chance to win it. I think they got a chance to go to the NCAA college baseball tournament. I do. I think they're that good. But we'll see. They've stayed healthy relatively, and they're hungry. And we're going to talk to the skipper, Paul Hesse, coming up Friday at 3:35 here on 1310 WDPN. And of course, you can watch us anytime here on the Sam Bourquin Show on the WDPN Facebook page, WDPN page on X, and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. So we're awfully excited. We're off and running. This is day 3 of the program. We hope that you have liked and enjoyed what you've heard so far, and invite you to make it a regular stop for you here 3 to 6 Monday through Friday here as we bring you all kind of good stuff here on the show. Also, try to line up a couple of other guests as well tomorrow and Friday, and when we get that done, we'll be sure to let you know on all of our social media platforms. A couple of quick notes that we didn't get to yesterday. Nothing major, but notes out of the NFL. George Kittle signed a 4-year contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers for $76 million. And as you heard Chris Easterling when he was with us on our program, the Browns, I don't know about this, they signed a Deion Johnson to a free agent contract. He's been through some stuff. I think he's been on like 4 teams in the last 2 years. I know he was with the Ravens maybe twice, but Deion Johnson, we'll see what he brings to the table. Again, not expecting a whole lot there. Not expecting a whole lot there. Saturday, the Run for the Roses at Churchill Downs. The Kentucky Derby, post time a little bit after 7 o'clock. They'll have 20 horses in the gate, ready to go. We'll be talking some Kentucky Derby. Got a couple feelers out for some handicappers for Friday, and we'll try to break that race down for you a little bit. Maybe put a little jingle in your pocket, if you know what I mean. I think we are headed up. The family's going to go up north and check out the Derby on Saturday. And I get a kick out of watching our son at the racetrack. he's 17 now, so he's getting it. He understands. But on Derby Day, or even just the night at the track, you know how it is. You got the wise guys walking around with the papers folded up in their back pocket. They got those fedora hats. They got the butterfly collared shirts with the big gold chains, right? They got a couple of slaps of Skin Bracer cologne on. Hey, come here, young fella. Let me tell you what I like. Number 4. This guy's running good at turf. It's a scene. It's a scene. You can't beat it for people watching and entertainment. You really can't. And if you win a couple of bucks, that's great too. We always kind of get there down on the post as they're coming around coming down the stretch and they cross the finish line. We usually kind of hang over the railing there and root our horse on. But that's always a good time. We'll be talking some Derby with you coming up here on Friday. Right now, we're going to step out. News and weather and all the good stuff you expect on 1310 WDPN. One more big hour to go with the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump, during a cabinet meeting today, says his administration is working to make the border more secure and also making trade deals with countries. The president also brushed off a mixed report on the gross domestic product, showing tariffs are having an impact on the economy, blaming President Biden's administration for the downturn.
Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
The Commerce Department says imports surged 40% during the quarter as businesses stockpiled goods before the tariff announcement and federal spending dropped. General Motors recalling 600,000 full-size trucks and its SUVs over fears their engines could fail without warning. It involves certain models of the Cadillac Escalade, Chevy Silverado, and GMC Sierra, among others. Stocks ended mixed on Wall Street. This is ABC News.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:02. This news brought to you by Bonfort Glass. A 17-year-old student is in custody after they allegedly were found with a gun at Lake Middle High School this afternoon. The Stark County Sheriff's Office says deputies working as resource officers in the Lake Local School District responded to a report of a student with a firearm around 1:20. The teen was found to have a loaded pistol in his backpack. He was arrested and charged with 1 count each of receiving stolen property and illegal conveyance or possession of a deadly weapon or dangerous ordinance in a school safety zone. The student is not believed to have had a plan to cause harm to other students or school staff. An investigation continues. A man is being treated for injuries suffered when he was shot in Canton. Police say it happened in the 1200 block of 18th Street Northwest around 8:30 Tuesday night. The 22-year-old victim was shot in the chest. He was taken to Mercy Hospital. Responding officers found blood inside a home, along with 3 pistols, live rounds, several bags of marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. Witnesses told police they had heard multiple gunshots inside the house. A man reportedly was running from the address with another man running after him. A Smith Township man has been ruled competent to stand trial for aggravated murder. Mahoning County Common Pleas Judge Anthony D'Onofrio made the ruling Tuesday after a second evaluation of 32-year-old Nicholas Cunningham determined he was capable of understanding the nature of the proceedings. He pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Cunningham is also charged with violating a protection order and aggravated burglary in the slaying of 44-year-old Gina Wade of Smith Township. Wade was found dead inside her Courtney Road home in October 2023. D'Onofrio granted a defense request that Cunningham be evaluated to determine whether he was sane at the time of the offense. The Timken Company reports first quarter net income of $78.3 million compared with $103.5 million in 2024. Adjusted net income of $98.6 million compared to $125.7 million a year ago. President and CEO Richard Kyle said the company posted solid results in a time of heightened uncertainty. Timken updated its 2025 outlook to show forecast adjusted earnings of $5.10 to $5.60 per share. Revenue is expected to be flat to down 2.5% for the year. New contracts are in place for some employees of the Canton City School District. The Board of Education approved 3-year agreements with the Ohio Association of Public School Employees Monday. The contracts cover more than 700 non-teaching staff. Nutrition department employees, including cooks, will receive a 4% raise in the first year, along with vended kitchen managers and food production staff. They will also get a 2.5% increase in base pay in the second year. Child nutrition assistants and production kitchen managers will receive a 1% addition to base pay. All members will get a 4% increase in the second year. The increase in the third year will be based on what the teachers union negotiates. Employees covered by the second contract will get a 4% raise in the first and second years. 6 support staff positions will get an additional 1% bump in base pay the second and third years, and bus drivers will receive a 1.5% raise in base pay. The contracts are effective July 1st. Marlboro Township Police say a lost pony has been returned to its owner. The animal was found on Swamp Street Tuesday. Police say they were unable to capture the pony and it headed westbound across Duquette Avenue through a field between Route 619 and Swamp toward Hartville. Officials said this morning the pony was captured in the Danbury Glen allotment and the owner was notified. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources says Tuesday's thunderstorms blew a bald eagle nest out of a tree in Madison Township, killing 2 eaglets. The parents survived the incident. The ODNR says the eaglets were about a month old. Ohio had about a dozen eagle nests in the 1990s. The number has risen to more than 1,000, including 8 in Columbiana County. Bald eagles are protected by federal law. Bond is set at $500,000 for a man charged in connection with a Sunday shooting in Wellsville. 20-year-old Emery Childs of Wellsville was arraigned Tuesday in Columbiana County Municipal Court. He is charged with felonious assault, inducing panic, and tampering with evidence. Childs allegedly shot a teen along 18th Street. The victim suffered a gunshot wound to the wrist. Police believe the incident involved additional teens from Steubenville. Childs is scheduled to return to court May 5th. Additional arrests are expected. The trial of a Kent man accused of causing a crash that killed his passenger is underway in Portage County Common Pleas Court. Jurors began hearing the case of 51-year-old Albert D. Tomaso Tuesday. He is charged with aggravated vehicular homicide, vehicular assault, and OVI. They stem from a January 2024 collision in Kent. D. Tomaso was driving a car that slammed into the back of a Spectrum truck parked along Lake Street. He and a Spectrum employee were taken to Akron hospitals with serious injuries. D. Tomaso's passenger, 55-year-old William Williams of Kent, was pronounced dead at the scene. Police said D. Tomaso's blood alcohol level was more than 3 times the legal limit. A teen discovered with a loaded shotgun in Youngstown Tuesday night is in the Mahoning County Juvenile Justice Center. An officer and a state trooper were working the city's annual Impact Initiative when they spotted the juvenile and another teen walking at Fernley and Hilda Avenues on the city's south side. A large bulge was seen in the leg of one of the teens, who fled on foot after the officers tried to speak with him. He was arrested shortly thereafter. Police found 16 live shotgun rounds and a loaded 12-gauge shotgun under a car. The teen was booked on charges of being a felon in possession of a firearm, tampering with evidence, carrying concealed weapons, and obstructing official business. The death penalty is being considered for a father and son accused of killing a mail carrier in Warren. Prosecutors are trying to determine if 44-year-old Thomas Sledge and 24-year-old Caprice Sledge would be eligible if they are convicted for the March 2024 slaying of Jonte Davis. Defense attorneys are attempting to prevent the death penalty from being implemented. The Justice Department will decide if this is a capital case. A federal grand jury indicted the men on 1 count each of murder of an officer and employee of the United States and a weapons count. Davis was shot at Scott Street and Olive Avenue Northeast. The suspects are believed to have known him. They were arrested in October. Another hearing is scheduled July 8th. Ohio can resume enforcing a law banning certain treatments for transgender youth while litigation continues. The Ohio Supreme Court announced Tuesday it's granting a request from Attorney General Dave Yost to pause an appellate court decision that said House Bill 68 is unconstitutional. The appeals court overturned the bill last month, arguing an injunction should be imposed against the law's provision banning certain prescriptions. The legal battle follows an August ruling from Franklin County Common Pleas Judge Michael Holbrook that said House Bill 68 could go into effect after being on hold for several months. Yost had said in a statement at the time of the appellate court decision in March that he would seek an immediate stay, promising there is no way I'll stop fighting to protect these unprotected children. An 18-year-old was arrested after a shooting near the University of Cincinnati's campus last weekend. Officers responded to the call around 2:47 a.m. Sunday on Glendora Avenue in Corryville. A 16-year-old was injured and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Claremont County Sheriff's deputies received a tip about a wanted suspect in Pierce Township Tuesday. Township police and the sheriff's office arrested 18-year-old Victor Canton on a charge of felonious assault. An investigation by Cincinnati police is ongoing. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 40,669, up 142 points. The Nasdaq Composite fell 15 points, ending at 17,446. And the S&P 500 closed at 5,569, up 8 points. We have the following funeral announcement. The service for 100-year-old Clyde P. Stanga of Avon will be held Monday at 10 at Regina Caeli Catholic Church. Arrangements by Scherer Sterling Skivalaki. It's 67 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News, a service of Bonford Glass. I'm Jeff Mears.
For over 80 years, Bonford Glass has been the expert when it comes to glass. You can count on the professionals at Bonford's for the latest techniques in glass repair, like the Aegis windshield repair system. The Aegis system can repair small chips in your windshield before they grow into big headaches. This revolutionary process takes less than an hour and can easily restore your windshield to its original strength. Effective that most insurance companies will waive the deductible and cover the entire amount of the repair, saving you and your insurance company up to 80% of the cost of a windshield replacement. The Aegis Windshield Repair System, just one of the expert repairs from Bonford Glass. They'll help you save money and make your windshield safer. Bonford Glass. Call 330-823-0450 or stop by at 30 South Union Avenue in Alliance.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Wednesday afternoon, a high in the middle 60s, sunshine galore all afternoon long. Pretty pleasant day. Overnight tonight, cloudy skies moving in, a low of 52. I am Mark J. Weather. Have a great Wednesday.
Live from the time for live and local sports talk, it's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we certainly hope your Wednesday is treating you well. Welcome back in. Hour 3, the third and final hour today here on 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. Sammy B here. Ryan Rainsberg to my right. We're gonna have a little chat with Ryan here in a minute. Get to know him. Let him. Yeah, I can talk for a living. Give you a chance to get to know him a little bit. Take you behind the curtain of my producer extraordinaire. We're gonna build up the hype, man. You better be ready to deliver. Phones are open, by the way. 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. You can also text the show 330-536-1146, and we'll read those texts on the air. Got the Buckeye Nike golf polo on today with the gray Buckeye cap. Trying to wear a little different sports outfit every day. But now that we're doing this live stream and you're on the video and people can see what you're wearing, you got to coordinate. You got to look good. You look good, you feel good, you do good. So Monday was Akron Rubber Ducks Day. Yesterday was no. Monday was the Cavs. I wore a Cavs hat Monday. Yesterday I wore a Blue Jays hat because it went with my first tee pullover. Now today we got the Buckeye hat with the black golf polo. Don't know what we're going to wear tomorrow. We ought to start having a contest, and we'll name it. And we'll get it sponsored. It'll be "What's he gonna wear?" Brought to you by whoever. And we'll have a little contest. People can guess what team I'll be repping. And just because I put on a certain team doesn't necessarily mean I'm a fan of theirs. But if it matches a certain shirt or a polo or a hoodie or a pullover, then you got to make it work. Like I got a really neat Philadelphia Phillies fitted hat that I bought. We went to Citizens Bank Park last year. And my wife bought me a hoodie with the exact same color as the Phillies hat. It's a little bit of a Phillies throwback hat. It's a little deeper, almost like a maroon red, if you will. And it just goes perfectly. So I'm sure you'll be seeing me in that. And I'll probably steal 4 or 5 of my son's hats out of his room when he's at school so I can keep up, so I can look okay. I love wearing sports gear. Just give me a hat and a shirt. I'm good. I'm happy. I love it. All right. Ryan Rainsburg. By the way, before I bring Ryan in, we had a little chat out in the lobby a couple of minutes ago. He says, you've been calling me Rainsburger. It's Rainsburg. Oops, sorry. My apologies. How we doing, my friend? How we doing?
I'm good.
You good?
I don't know if I said it so aggressively per se, but I just wanted to let you know. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Let's scoot up to the mic there a little bit. People want to hear you. So you having fun? I've been having a great last 3 days working with you and back and forth. We've been kind of learning on the fly, learning as we go. Yeah. But I've been having a good time. Are you good? You doing all right?
Yeah, great. It's been a very moment by moment thing, and everything's been going pretty much according to plan. That's about all you can ask for, really.
Yeah.
I know I've been doing stuff here since 2013, so kind of seen everything that could go wrong, and we've been getting pretty lucky with things not going wrong. So I'm very happy with that.
So yeah. So what's your radio? Take us back. What's your history in radio? Where stations you've worked at, duties that you've had? What are you doing?
It's funny that actually it about covers it. I've worked here since I got out of high school.
Okay.
So I graduated in 2012, and I started doing sports here, and yeah, since then I've been doing sports, and then I moved up to office work, and now I'm here producing your show. So
very cool. So where I don't know, where did you go to high school?
Alliance.
You went to Alliance? Okay. So you were an aviator in the class of 2012. Very good. Did you while you were there, how were the sports teams? Did anybody do super duper well, or?
That was the year that our basketball team went 20-0 in their regular season. So it was a bit of a hype time to be a senior at Alliance High School because I think that was JJ Kakura.
Yes.
So that was my senior year.
Larry was the coach, and JJ, and then JJ went on to play at Mount Union.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was there when his son played for high school team. So
very cool.
That was the year that So that was a fun year. A lot of pep rallies, a lot of everybody running around, very excited. Big games every night.
Oh yeah, I bet Harry Fales Gymnasium was rocking.
Oh yeah, we did a couple of those live on here for the broadcast arts class. Oh yeah.
Very good.
Those are good times.
So what do you like to do outside of work? You got some free time. What's your hobbies?
Oh, I'm a gamer.
Oh yeah?
I'm a sports guy now. I play video games.
How about that? Not really a sports guy, but here he is.
Sports here for 12 years and not really a sports guy. I can watch it. I like sports. I just
Which favorite?
I watch Cleveland sports.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm always rooting for the Cavs. It's cool to know that they're doing so good this season. Actually, I don't follow them, so hearing that they're winning games by such large margins.
Wow.
That's cool.
I'm going to make you a sports fan if it's the last thing I do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm telling you.
I'll end up it'll just be in there.
I'm pointing at him, telling him I'm gonna change the way you live.
I can't sit in here and not hear stuff. So it is what it is.
So you're a gamer. What's your games of choice? I'm not a gamer. My son is. I'm not. But
I'll play literally anything, man. I've been playing video games, since I was a kid. So started out playing Super Nintendo.
Yeah. How about now? How you're just a tad younger than me, so you don't remember like Atari 2600 or any of that.
I was born in 94.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake, save me.
Jake's younger than I am.
Wow. Yeah.
25.
Yeah. Jake's in the studio here as well. Holy cow. So gaming when you were a kid, I mean, did you start with like Activision or did you go right into
Legend of Zelda and Super Mario on a Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo? Okay. That's where I cut my teeth. All right. We've got a PS5 at home, and my son's on that quite a bit. And every once in a while, I can get him to play Madden or NBA Live. Or I don't do like the Call of Duty and combat and shoot 'em up and stuff like that. I'm not good at it. I'm too slow. The old man's too slow. I can play the sports games, but I mean, if I ever got into this hardcore, which I probably won't, but you put the headsets on and you play against other people all over the place, and you can converse with them while you're playing the video game. And I never understood all that.
I know for a lot of people in my age group, it's half about video games and half about social interaction.
Yeah,
we're online, we're playing games together, we're all talking about stuff, liking stuff.
Yeah,
It's honestly, I'm sure it's the same thing you do with your friends when you're talking about sports. We're just talking about video games.
So I'm speaking of social media. Do you have Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram? Do you got a handle? You want to get out there and promote yourself a little bit, or do you want to stay behind the curtain?
I don't really use social media much. I do a little bit of stuff online. I'm getting there, but maybe later.
Okay.
There's nothing much there to see right now.
All right.
So
Favorite kind of music?
Oof. Oh, that's tough. I mean, I could talk about music all day, man.
See there, I knew I'd get it out of him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drag the personality out.
Music is half of my life. I can't get through my day without music. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way.
What are you? Rock, pop, 40, rap, country, blues, mix?
All of it.
Everything?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Today
Okay.
I was feeling a little more upbeat and poppy. Some days I feel a little more slow and R&B. Sometimes I'm just kind of angry and need some angry music. I think anybody can
Don't be listening to angry music. Last concert you've been to?
I've been to many concerts. It's been a long time. I think since I was like in my early 20s. A big concert goer.
No kidding. So where was the last one you went to? What venue?
It was in high school, I think. So I think it was I went with a girl, so it was like a Christian rock concert thing that she wanted to go to.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that is my last concert.
That's all right. All right. One more. I'm done grilling you as we bring Ryan Rainsberg to you here on 1310 WDPN during the Sam Bourquin Show. Favorite place to go eat?
You're actually asking me difficult questions to answer. I'm not picky about food per se. I eat a lot of fast food.
Yes, that is true.
I mean, if you're going somewhere in Alliance, you might as well go to Texas Roadhouse and get a good steak. It's a no-brainer. If you're going to Canton, your options are obviously a lot grander. Can't go wrong with like a Chili's or a TGI Fridays. I know that sounds kind of basic.
Boy, you're Mr. corporate chain guy. We got to get you into the Ma and Pa, Paul and Ori's. Come on. The neighborhood right down the street there.
Yeah.
Oh, best burgers in Alliance, I think. You know what? I miss A-Town burgers. I do.
I thought they were still open.
No, maybe they still have a food truck or something, but I know that the brick and mortar.
Oh, that is sad. A-Town.
I love that place. I wish they were still here, but
not even a competition.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to let people get to know you a little bit, what the guy behind the scenes is doing, and so here's my goal: we're gonna get Ryan to be an A1 sports fan. We're gonna get him to try local mom and pop eateries, and we're gonna get him off the gaming system. We're just gonna take it away.
No. Sorry.
Yeah. See now, my man's sweating over here, and I got him sweating bullets over here now. That's good. That's good. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing. I want to thank Jake as well, who's doing a lot of great stuff behind the scenes. And Jake does a lot. He's actually the producer for Across the Hall in the mornings on Q92 with Christine and Lawrence. So he's a busy guy. All right, we're going to step away here about 23 minutes after 5. Do want to remind everybody, we're going to get back into the Cavs and the Pacers a little bit. Brian Dulik from the Medina Gazette will be joining us at, oh my gosh, was he at 5:15 today? Oh, and I completely blew right past it. Oh, my gosh, he's probably calling me right now. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get Brian on and talk Cavs Pacers, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. The nation's most populous state, along with other states, is suing President Trump over attempts to dismantle the AmeriCorps National Service Program. ABC's Alex Stone reports from Los Angeles.
California is now filing its 16th lawsuit against President Trump. Attorney General Rob Bonta saying,
with today's lawsuit, we say to the president on his 100th day in office, we'll see you in court again.
California is being joined by nearly 24 other states claiming President Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge are illegally dismantling AmeriCorps. They claim because AmeriCorps was created and is funded by Congress, and only Congress has that power, and that the president is breaking the law. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
President Trump is holding a rally in Michigan to mark the first 100 days of his second term. Trump today is staging his largest political event since returning to the White House in a state that's been affected by his trade tariffs and attitude toward Canada. Before he left, the White House announced it would ease some auto tariffs, a move that could resonate in car-building Michigan. Trump is making an afternoon visit to Selfridge Air National Guard Base for an announcement alongside Democratic Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. He'll speak later at a rally north of Detroit. The Conference Board says its Consumer Confidence Index fell 7.9 points in April to 86 as anxiety over the effect of tariffs weighed down growth expectations. Most consumers expect prices to rise because of Trump's taxes on imports. According to a survey by the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research, about half of Americans are worried about a potential recession. Meanwhile, U.S. employers posted 7.2 million vacancies in March, 300,000 below what economists forecast and down from 8.1 million the previous year. The severe weather threat is on the move, following dozens of reports of large hail and powerful wind gusts, as well as 2 reported tornadoes in the heartland. ABC News meteorologist Ginger Z is in Minneapolis tracking it all.
This cold front is going to be powerful again with damaging wind possible. Syracuse, Buffalo, Columbus, Ohio, almost the entire state of Ohio, southern Indiana, and back to Texas and Oklahoma, where they've got large hail and more flash flooding.
It's 75 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff PN News.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
Dry and quiet weather for your Wednesday afternoon. A lot of bright sunshine, a few scattered clouds beginning to move in. We'll see a high in the middle 60s. Overnight, clouds increase with a low near 52. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. You can watch us right now. Here we go. Hello, YouTube. We're on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. You can also continue to listen. You can watch, too, on the WDPN X page and the WDPN Facebook page. And while you're there, we sure would appreciate it. If you would like the page, share the page, make some comments about what you like and what you'd like to hear on the program Monday through Friday, 3 until 6. Absolutely open up to whatever you folks want to hear out there. And, spend your days with us Monday through Friday here on 1310 WDPN. And don't forget, when you wake up in the morning, bright and early, Rex at 6 a.m., playing your favorite hits, dropping a little knowledge on you throughout the morning, 6 until 10. John Tesh, Music for the Life. Great program, great music. Again, sprinkling in some commentary and some fun facts and some different things. John Tesh, 10 until 3, Monday through Friday here on WDPN. And then I'll come in and take you home from 3 until 6 p.m. Brian Dulik is going to be joining us. And gosh, I apologize to everybody. I had in my head, not on my paper, that we were going to talk to Brian at 5:35. I did. I just completely went right past it. He was supposed to be on a little bit earlier. That's my bad. I take responsibility for that. I just texted Brian, and he is all set to go. We'll be making contact with him here in just about a minute. Always want to throw the phone lines out to you. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. And, of course, now you can always text the show anytime, 330-536-1146. And we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to make this program as interactive as possible with you viewers and listeners here on the Sam Bourquin program. Don't forget, Friday, 3:35, give you a couple of days' notice. We're going to talk some Mount Union Purple Raider baseball with Hall of Fame skipper of the Purple Raiders, Paul Hesse. He'll be joining us. We'll be talking Kentucky Derby on Friday as well. And we'll get some great guests lined up and some great talking points for you tomorrow here, beginning at 3 p.m. I want to thank our guest earlier today. We were rolling early, weren't we? Hope you enjoyed what we brought to you. Matt Underwood joined us from Cleveland Guardians TV, the TV play-by-play voice of the Guardians. I want to thank Chris Easterling from the Akron Beacon Journal, who beat reporter for the Browns. Chris joined us, and of course Tim Stried from the OHSAA. He joined us at 4:10 and had a great conversation with Tim Stried as well. So good stuff here on this Wednesday afternoon. We're kind of like in, Cavs withdrawal? I know I am. You know, they beat up the Heat in 4, and now we wait. Okay? So, no Cavs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We don't play again until Sunday. But we got the Guards tonight and tomorrow afternoon. And, of course, the NFL draft talk kind of continues. We may revisit that one more time here during the week, and that kind of put that to bed a little bit before the NFL offseason machine starts to churn a little bit with, rookie mini camp and guys figure out what numbers they're going to wear for the upcoming football season and all those different things that go on as you get ready for another NFL year. So, lots to get to. And again, we'll be here with you Monday through Friday on 1310 WDP. And I believe we are all set. Nope, not all set yet. Still waiting to make contact with Brian. All right. So in the meantime, we've talked a little bit about the Cavs and their teams in the past that maybe didn't have that hunger, didn't have that fight, didn't have that killer instinct. I think that's all out the window now. I do. I think Kenny Atkinson has hit every single right button for this team. Look at the regular season record. Look at the 3 win streaks they had, opening up the season at 15-0. You couldn't ask for a better journey. And the journey continues Sunday at home against Indiana. Still waiting for a time for the good folks at the NBA. All right, it is time to bring in my good buddy Brian Dulik from the Medina Gazette, Medina Post Gazette, I should say. And also, Brian also doing some cool stuff for Cleveland Pro Sports, for Reuters Field Level Sports, in addition as contributing to the Associated Press. So a busy guy and does a great job. Brian, thanks for joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. How are you today?
I'm delighted to be on with you, Sam. It's great to talk to you, and I got to say that the best hit music station in Northern Ohio for many decades. I've been listening, so I'm very excited to be here.
Very good. Good to have you. It's been a while since we've been able to talk a little sports over the radio airwaves, and we'll kind of pick up our discussion right here. Real quickly, before we look ahead to Indiana and a series that I just can't wait to talk about, what were your immediate thoughts on how easily the Cavaliers disposed of the Miami Heat? They beat them by a total of 122 points, an NBA record. They beat them 2 at home. They beat them 2 in Miami. I just can't believe it was that easy, but apparently it was.
Yeah, I really can't either. We knew that the Heat was kind of like a wounded animal from the moment the Jimmy Butler trade was made, but wow, there must have been a lot of doubt in their minds about if they could actually win a game in this series, because I thought the Cavaliers just took their heart out of them in game 1, and it was gone. Eric Spoelstra might be the best coach in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He's certainly a top 3 coach, and even he couldn't get that team competitive despite having an all-star point guard in Tyler Hero, an all-star big man in Bam Adebayo. Just an absolute clinic in basketball by the Cavaliers. It was beautiful to watch and so much fun because I think it reminded you and I back of the legendary Cavaliers teams that won and made runs at championships.
No doubt about it. Brian Dulik is our guest here on 1310 WDPN. So the sweep, and now here it's a good bad scenario, Brian. I just talked about it before we brought you on the air. It's great to sweep a team, but then as Cavs fans, we're sitting here going, "Oh, when are you going to play again?" And it's like, okay, we've got to wait another week. All right, so Sunday's finally going to roll around, and we don't know what time yet, but we're going to see our guys back there out on the floor. If you're Kenny Atkinson, obviously just about everything you've done, every button you've pushed has been pure magic. What do you think his philosophy is right now, present day, moving forward with coming up after a sweep and all this long time to rest, relax, and get better? What buttons do you think he's pushing right about now?
I think he's doing the exact same thing he did from game 81 in the regular season until they finally got to open their playoff series with Miami when they had less than 44 hours to even prepare for who they were playing. That concerned me far more than this scenario. They came out a little sluggish in game 1, that series. I don't think that'll be a problem this time. They're running on absolute high octane. They're coming back home. These guys love playing at Rocket Arena. And really, having all this many days to prepare for Indiana, and the fact that they know Indiana so well from being in the division with them, I think he's just going with the status quo because he can trust his guys to come out and do what they do.
Brian, what are you expecting in this series? I look at Indiana and I look at the Cavs, and I'm not saying it's going to be Heat Knicks back in the 90s with maybe 80 points might win a game. I'm not saying that at all. But I think the intensity, I think the passion, I think the drama, I think it's all going to be kicked up several notches. I expect a really, really good series.
I do too. And the thing that makes this series so unique is we're probably going to see 250 total points scored in most of the games because as up-tempo as the Cavaliers are as the leading scoring team in the NBA, my gosh, most nights Indiana plays faster than they do with Tyrese Halliburton pushing the action and with Miles Turner down low and Pascal Siakam running the wing. Conditioning, to me, is the biggest thing that the Cavaliers are probably working on for the next couple of days because it's going to be crazy fast, and that's a style that certainly suits the Cavaliers well. The talent disparity to me is still really large between the Cavs and the Pacers.
Okay.
Not nearly as much as it was with the Cavs and the Heat, obviously, but the best team wins every 7-game series, and talent almost always wins. I think it'll be a fun series. I'd be shocked if it went longer than 6, and I really think it would be a 5-game series for the Cavs.
Wow. I'll go with that. I think it's going to be Cavs in 6. You got Cavs in 5. I'll take either one. Brian Dulik is our guest. You can check him out, Reuters Field Level, in addition to his great work as a contributor to the Associated Press. You mentioned Pascal Siakam. There's a guy, I don't know what it is about him. He kind of scares me a little bit. Excuse me. He's kind of a tough matchup. He's wiry. He takes unorthodox shots. He finds his way to get rebounds. Am I off base there? Will the Cavaliers be able to handle him pretty easily?
I think if this was a year ago, he would be a much bigger concern. The fact that Evan Mobley has made such a quantum leap, not just defensively, but offensively this year. And if Indiana decides to play a little bit of a matchup game, and Rick Carlisle also on that very short list of the best coaches, then they might try to use Siakam against the Cavaliers small forwards. Here's where the DeAndre Hunter trade is so huge. Siakam would have ripped Max Strus apart or Isaac Okoro. DeAndre Hunter, however, is a very different player, and he's capable of going blow for blow with Siakam. I'm looking forward to the 3 guys we talked about with Siakam, Halliburton, and Turner. They've got big game experience, and they've had some fun games against the Cavaliers. That's the cool thing as a basketball fan. I'm looking forward to that. As long as Darius Garland's toe is okay, that'll be part of the appreciating the game in addition for rooting for the home team.
And speaking of rooting, I mentioned this about a half an hour ago. See if you're with me here. Due to the close proximity between the cities, and we've seen many times over the years, a lot of Pacer fans will make their way to Cleveland. Cavs fans will go to Indianapolis. I think that the atmospheres in both arenas are going to be really, really special. And I would not be surprised. Maybe on certain games, you might have 20, 25% of the visiting crowd in the other places, in the other team's building to root their guys on. I think because it's only, a 5.5, 6 hour drive, I think it's going to be pretty neat. What do you think?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. That's been the coolest part about this first round of the East playoffs is you've got the three old playoff rivals and the Pistons, the Cavaliers, and the Pacers all playing very well, all stirring up the fan bases, and it's going to be a really neat atmosphere. It was neat when the Cavs and the Pacers played in 2017 through 2018, and you did see that crossover with fans, as you mentioned. Yeah, this is good. I hope all our younger fans or maybe lapsed NBA fans are soaking this in.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you want. This is just a lot of fun, and provided the Cavs get through, it's going to be even more fun against Boston. This is what you live for, this kind of season, and with the rivalries and the teams that know each other so well. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Brian, Spider Miller, Mitchell Miller, Spider Miller. I'm thinking about Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Max Strus, Ty Jerome. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Darius Garland hasn't played the last two games, and the Cavaliers they've almost been untouchable. How much fun has it been for you to watch this team? And if you can, narrow it to one. I know it might be a tough question. Who is the one player that has just blown your mind this entire season?
Ty Jerome has been a revelation. When you look at his career, no disrespect to Ty, he's played 5 years before. He's only had one stretch of about 50 games where he looked like he could even play in the NBA. And it's been a couple of years since that happened. All of a sudden, in my opinion, he should have won the Sixth Man of the Year award instead of Peyton Pritchard. Certainly, he's no worse than the second best sixth man. This has been the most unexpected, out-of-the-blue season that I can ever remember for a Cavaliers player on a winning Cavaliers team. And I would also say the runner-up to that award would be Evan Mobley. The strides he's made as an offensive player have been incredible. And I got to admit, I was a little concerned it would never happen where he would become a top 25 player, but he's done it. And gosh, it's beautiful to have him locked up for a long time.
Brian, how in the world did we fleece our way to getting DeAndre Hunter? I mean, seriously, that's one of the greatest capers of all time.
It is, because not only for this season, but the fact that Hunter's locked in for 3 years.
Yes.
At what is not a terrible rate. It was a great trade for today and for tomorrow. Well, you've seen Atlanta subsequently fired their general manager. So
there you go.
Kind of leads in that direction, I guess.
Kenny Atkinson. I mean, you talk about right guy, right time, right team, right pieces. You could not have made a better hire. What is the magic potion behind Kenny Atkinson?
I think it's twofold. One, the guys on this team had grown tired of J.B. Bickerstaff's kind of fake tough guy, fake disciplinarian, constant whining about the officials attitude. And it was time for a change.
Yep.
Absolutely. They were going to continue to regress. They actually won fewer games last year than they did the year before with JB, because you start to see that bristling. Atkinson's style so fits the more modern NBA game that we've got right now, with everybody pushing the ball constantly. And also, he's a great coach for great players. Donovan Mitchell loves being pushed, but he loves being pushed by guys who know what they're doing and can help him get better. Jarrett Allen, Kenny said a number of times, he's a different cat, because he is. He prefers to go home and read a book or play video games and be the world's most famous cat dad in the NBA. He needs a different attitude to push his buttons correctly. Kenny's done that. And also, I don't think we should underestimate Darius Garland was going through a lot of personal trauma last year. The fact that he's in a much better place mentally, regardless of who the coach is, that's made a world of difference. He takes the court and he's that fun-loving self again.
Brian Dulik is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Again, you can watch us live right now, and you can check us out on the Q92 radio YouTube channel and stream as well, WDPN.com. Brian, the NBA as a whole, we're sitting here in 2025. The league has gone through a lot of changes. I grew up with it in the late 70s, watched it blossom, 80s, took a little bit of step back there, the 90s, 2000s. Where do you sit now with the NBA game? What is going really well and what needs a little bit of tinkering?
It's a very entertaining product. I don't think anyone can deny that it's at its most compelling level it's been since the 2015 to 2018 run, which might have been the apex of the last 40 years in the league. It's been that good. That era was that good. It really is just, it's so clearly defined as the number 2 sport in the United States, so clearly defined as the number 1 or 1A league with the Premier League in soccer in the world. It's in a great spot. You've got compelling stars. Again, the game is really exciting, and there were so many young guys who get fans into the excitement of what great basketball looks like. And we've had some unbelievable games in the first round of this postseason. That Indiana-Milwaukee series and the Detroit-New York series have been out of this world. On the flip side, players are getting too good offensively. And it's the old poison that moves up. Poison in basketball always moves up rather than flows down like in football. That AAU intensity where all guys are taught to do is how to score. And it's slowly seeped its way through college and into the pros over the last 15 years. Something is going to need to be done, not immediately, but in the next few years about trying to give the defenses some advantage because these guys are just too good for even the best defenders. And I don't know how you fix that, Sam. It's something I've had a discussion about with, I can't tell you how many people around the league. No one knows what the answer is, and I sure don't, but it's going to be an issue.
Brian Dulik is our guest. Brian, the faces of the NBA. Again, I'll start with when I came into the world, so to speak, and it was Magic and Bird. Then we've had faces of the NBA: Michael, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq. Who is your face of the NBA right now, and who do you think it'll be in the next 5, 8, 10 years?
The next 5, really probably as soon as next season, will be Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio. He's got all the tools. He wants to be that guy. Currently, I still think it's Giannis from the Milwaukee Bucks. I really, just because he is such a great ambassador and such a class act for the league, and obviously he's going to finish in the top 3 in the MVP voting for the 6th time in 6 years. His Hall of Fame credentials are long ago established, but that's the guy you want out there. The fact that he can't get out of the first round the last few years is a problem. And the best player right now is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Oklahoma City. I can't buy him as being that guy because his personality and honestly the market he plays in don't allow him to be the face of the league. Anthony Edwards in Minnesota also looks like, in terms of a talent perspective, he could be that face of the NBA. But boy, you talk about off the field problems. Things you do not want associated with your product. I don't want him anywhere near this discussion, but he's in it right now. I think we need to wait for Wemby to get ready to take that next step when he's healthy and see where we go from there. Because honestly, there isn't one right now for the rest of the playoffs with the Bucks being eliminated.
I would agree. Brian, I got about 30, 35 seconds. How many years does LeBron James play?
I think he goes another 2 or 3 years. Wow. There's no reason for him not to. He's still one of the top 10 players in the league. And I guess that's why when people are always trying to force him to retire, why would you want to if you're still playing at that level?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a little bit of a drop off the last 2 years, but my gosh, I honestly think the Doncic trade has hindered him because he's still trying to fit his game around Luka.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure he'll finish with the Lakers, but he's got a lot more to accomplish. I'm not saying he'll come back here. Okay, I want to be very clear. But I'm not sure he finishes there. I think he'll finish on his terms, and it'll be fascinating to see how far he pushes those unbreakable numbers out. The next goal for him, obviously, is breaking the record for most games played in NBA history, and he should be able to do that late next season or early in 2027.
Just incredible. What a career.
Yeah.
Brian, I really appreciate you coming by and chatting a little Cavs and some NBA today. We will certainly call upon you down the road, and hopefully maybe middle of June we can be talking about a little parade. What do you say?
Boy, let's hope so. I can't wait.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, Sam, have a great day.
You bet. There you go. Brian Dulik. Great job he did it with the Medina Gazette, and he's doing some great stuff as well as a contributor with the Associated Press. All right, we are coming up on about 11 minutes until the top of the hour. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You want to talk a little Cavs, little Guards, little Browns, whatever else is on your mind on this beautiful Wednesday here in the Carnation City of Alliance, Ohio. The Sam Bourquin Show continues. We'll take a break. We'll come back and take you to the top of the hour. Stay with us on 1310.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
To me, working at St. Jude, what makes it so special is that there's more research going on here. At St. Jude, we don't care who cures cancer, we just need to advance the cure. The heart of St. Jude is to take care of children with catastrophic diseases and to advance their cure rates, but we need to be able to do that for everyone. It's a bold initiative to try and bump cure rates all around the world, but it is our commitment.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need, to find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, the final 10 minutes here on the program. 330-821-1310, the number. If you want to text us, we'd love to hear from you there as well. We love interaction here on the program. You've been doing a pretty good job with it. All right. We always could use a little more. 330-536-1146. Thanks to Brian Dulik for talking Cavs and NBA with us here on the program. Big show coming up for you tomorrow. Big show Friday as we roll you into the weekend. And don't forget, we got a little Kentucky Derby talk coming up for you on Friday as well. Let's hit the phones. 330-821-1310. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show on WDPN. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sammy. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Who we got?
Sammy, this is your old battery mate, RL.
Oh, my gosh.
My friend.
Oh, my God.
Back a few decades, just a couple decades. I want to tell you.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. You're day 3 in
Good.
the show, and I'm day 3 with you, brother.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you what, you're doing a great job. I think I'm going to touch base here in another week or so. I got a couple individuals that I want to bring on to your show, or give you a little some opportunities to do some good interviews with some local individuals, and I think something that will be really value added. But
sounds good.
We're going to touch base. I'm going to come back to you with a list of questions. I do like the list of questions and what your likes are, and I think some of your people out there that are new to WDPN need to know a little bit more about their buddy Sammy B.
Uh-oh.
Don't you worry. We're going to keep it PG. Maybe we'll keep it G, maybe PG.
Okay. We got our fingers on the button just in case.
No, that's okay. I think what you got going on here, my friend, is a very, very good thing, and I think the people of Stark County are very happy to have you back. I know I am.
Yeah, so I appreciate the real backstory on RL. My good buddy, my good friend, classmate, my catcher at Central Catholic. We also attended Walsh University together, and had some good times back in the day. And my gosh, I have not talked to you in quite a while. And are you still doing the fire?
Well,
or what are you doing now?
Tell you what, I did retire as a municipal fireman, and now I'm on the industrial end.
Okay.
I won't name the company that starts with a big red M, but yeah, we're still doing it. And I will tell you, I'm gonna say this to all your listeners: I watched you swing a bat in high school, and I've seen you swing a bat many times. But I'll tell you what, you're finally hitting home runs.
I didn't hit many home runs back when I had a bat in my hand. I know that.
Well, I think you're on the right track here, and Alliance and the rest of the county is very happy to have you back. So I wish you all the best of luck. And if people aren't making calls in, this is the guy. This is the guy we want here talking sports with us.
I appreciate it, Robbie. Thank you so much for calling in. I'm glad. I know you're out there listening and spreading the good word. And best to the family. And we'll hook up here down the road. How's that sound?
You bet. Right back at you, my friend. And I'm going to get you. I'm working on a couple inside opportunities to get some Cavs info for you.
Ooh,
so maybe some behind the bench individuals that know a lot about the Cavs and couple Stark County connections here. So I will talk to you soon.
Hey, reach out to me, whether it's phone, email, text, whatever. We'll hook that up. Okay.
You got it, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, and wait till I get back to you with a list of questions.
I can't wait.
Put that out there. Your listeners are going to want to hear it. You take care, my friend.
Thanks, RL. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard from Robbie in a long time. He's my battery mate. My battery mate back at the Central Catholic days. Did a great job too. I had Robbie Leahy. I had Danny Mazzarelli. Who else did I have? I think Bruno Giello, now Bruno Gunn, doing some great acting in movies out in Hollywood. He was in Hunger Games, Catching Fire. Bruno was. Love those guys. I love everybody I went to school with. Just lifelong friends. This day, obviously, you don't talk and chat and see each other like you did. Life changes. You do different things and go different directions. But man, I had a great group. I really did. I know I didn't want to leave anybody out. Mazzarelli behind the plate. Robbie was behind the plate. Boomer, my guy Brian Beck was behind the dish a little bit. When I broke in as a friend, we had 6 of us or 7. We all broke in with Central Catholic. We all played freshmen. We played 4 years for the Hall of Famer Coach Doug Miller. I think maybe Joey Faraday was a catcher of mine too. I can't remember. I'm getting old. I really am. Quit shaking your head over there. I'm not getting that old. A couple minutes left to go until we close up shop here today. I want to thank everybody for calling, emailing, texting, watching, viewing, and listening today. We certainly do appreciate that. Guardians tonight. No Cavs until Sunday. Kentucky Derby coming up this weekend. Did you see the weather for Saturday? Around here, bad. Like 56, 85, 90% chance of rain. I got to check the forecast for Churchill Downs. Because if there are wagers to be made, and there are, you got to see which horse can get it done in the mud. They call them mudders. Okay? That was mudders with 2 Ds. You got to figure out who can go in the slop. And I don't know what the weather forecast is yet for Churchill Downs, but we're still working on a couple of possible guest kind of handicappers for Friday's show to talk about the big Kentucky Derby on Saturday. Now, I've got a couple of horses that I really like. One of them is a 20-1 shot, Grande, 20-1. Not 3-1, not 5-1, not 6-1, but 20-1. And I think a good shot. Now, the one thing that I guess it's going to be this way moving forward, the Kentucky Derby, they put 20 horses in the field. And I think they run, 17? And then they have like an auxiliary gate where the other 3 horses on the outside, like they're the last 3 in as far as post position for the Derby. So it's usually 20 horses. Now, when you're running 11 and 12 horses, obviously it's a little easier to maybe pick a winner. But when you're running 20 horses out there, it's a little tough. You got to do a little homework. So I'm looking forward to the Derby. We should have a great sports weekend. Guards are going to be in action. The Cavs, you got the Derby. I don't know where the PGA Tour is this weekend. I know they were down in New Orleans last week with that dual tournament. They had teams of 2 playing all weekend. So we'll have a little golf. I know we got a lot of great golfers out there. A lot of golfers listen to the show. They go out and play. Of course, we got Tannehoff, one of the great courses right down the road. I think the best milkshake I've ever had at a golf course was at Tannehoff. True story. Blown away. My son was playing there last year in a first tee summer tournament. And I think Central Catholic played out there as well. Not sure. But, the milkshakes at Tannehoff are just, they're to die for. All right. It's about that time. About that time we say goodbye. There we go. I still haven't figured out the buttons. Yep, you'll be back in here tomorrow. No doubt.
I will be here, Sam.
I appreciate it. Hey, thanks to everybody who participated in the program today. Thanks to my guest, Maddie Underwood, Cleveland Guardians TV, Brian Dulik. I want to thank Chris Easterling from the Beacon Journal, and I want to thank Tim Stried from the OHSAA. 1310 WDPN, streaming live, AM1310WDPN.com. Check us out on all your social media platforms. And until then, have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.